Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your friend Mr. BDA, and alongside with me as always my co-host, the one, the only King Bucho. King, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. I want to thank everybody that's in the chat room, but before we do that, a couple of announcements to make. That's the thing. Remember, guys, we wanted to do the call-in show where we take phone calls, and we were raising some moolah, some cash, some dough in order to get it going. Well, the first thing we wanted to get was a mic stand, a second monitor, a green screen, and other stuff for the podcast, which we did end up acquiring thanks to your generous donations. And now we are looking to raise more funds for the call-in show. Am I getting that right, Bucho, so far?
Yep, the call-in show.
All right. And
so basically, we're already paying for the Spreaker subscription, because you can't post anything on iTunes unless you get like some sort of code. And to get that code, you gotta get Spreaker. That gives it to you. I mean, you could get Spreaker for free, but you don't have enough space to put any fucking episodes, man. And our episodes are long as fuck.
Oh, you need to swear.
3 hours. Huh?
You need to swear.
Sorry. So anyways, so we already, with the Patreon subscribers, we already have like $30, so that's what we need to get for the Spreaker subscription. But for the Blog Talk Radio, that's 40 US, so that's like 53, I calculate 53 Canadian. So the goal is to get $53 a month from the 30 we already have.
You couldn't have made this simpler, man.
Yeah, I don't know. We just need to, like, if you look at this, I don't see what are you showing the Patreon?
That's right.
Okay, well, there you have it. There you have it. Like, you can see the goal that we set.
Yeah, just go to our Patreon page and check it out. And we're probably going to end up financing this ourselves at the beginning. But,
yeah.
Speaking of moolah, Tommy Temper just donated he just donated to the super chat. Shout out to Tommy Temper. And he says, is Tyson's deal really worth $100? I think he means 100 million.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, first of all, thanks.
I don't think so.
First of all, shout out to Tommy Temper. Thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it. And speaking of, raising funds for the call-in show, I think already with that we can start it. We can get the launching pad for the first episode on the call-in show. Of course, we're just working out the logistics of how to work it into the Hangouts and through the whole other system we have here that Gaia 100 set up a couple of years ago. So that's about it. And as to Tommy Temper's question about whether Tyson Fury's deal is really worth 100 mil, I don't know. I don't know much about his finances and everything, but I suspect that on paper it's about 100 mil, but then he probably has to pay Frank Warren, the bullet dodger, a percentage. He probably has a manager as well. And I mean, you know how that goes. So, but maybe, on paper, it should be about like 100 mil, right?
I don't know. I heard he's getting paid 20 million in his first fight.
Jeez. So against anybody? Like it's a flat fee?
That's not what I heard.
Anyway. Well, that's it.
I don't really care about this money talk. I just know it's a big juicy deal.
It's a big juicy deal. We'll talk more about that with later on if the conversation starts petering out. We'll ask somebody that knows more about that. But I think it's been established that his deal is probably worth 100 million. We could look it up, but then again, we also have other stuff we want to get to. Yeah. So that's the whole thing about the Patreon. We'll probably end up funding ourselves the first episode. And if people like it and you feel like continuing to donate so that we can continue taking phone calls, because it should be fun. I mean, there's a lot of people we don't want to let into the Hangouts because they're insane. So if we talk to them on the phone, we have full control of how long they're on. And let's face it, we do need... I try to pretend like I don't like the shenanigans in the show, but it's good for views and all that. It's good entertainment to have one wacko or another here and there. So that's about it for that. Bucho, let's get right down to it, all right? Enough talking about shekels here. Last night, Erislandy Lara and Brian Castaño battled to a draw. The scorecards were 115-113 for Castaño, 115-113 for Lara, and then Julie Letterman the hot daughter of Harold Letterman,
She
had it
hot?
114. Had it
Oh, I think you're
114.
being sarcastic.
She had it 114, 114.
I knew
And
she was gonna fuck it up, man.
well, I don't know about fucking it up. It's
It was yeah. Go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
Look, I've been looking at some of the comments on Ring TV, Sherdog, boxing scene. Well, first of all, boxing scene, it's all gonna turn into a race thing. But for the most part, most people, especially in the chat room, we're gonna see what people have to say about that. But most people are split on who should have won the fight. Now, of course, you have your extremists. Some are saying Castaño got robbed. Some are saying Lara got robbed. I thought it was a very close fight.
Yeah, I think it was a close fight, but I had what's his name again? Castaño winning it, but
Castaño.
I don't know. Castaño. Uh, I have the predictions from people from the BDA Hangouts.
Uh-oh.
I can read them now or later if you want.
How about we save them later to really throw in the
Yeah.
faces of those who got it wrong? By the way,
Yeah,
my prediction, I went on the Soro versus Castaño fight that's on YouTube, and I left my prediction there. So if anybody cares what my prediction was, you can see it over there. I got into a conversation with a whole bunch of people over there, nice people, and so that fight. I mean, people were split down the line, and So hey, listen, it was a classic type of fight. One guy pressuring, but not a big puncher. So you have to really watch out to see if his punches were landing cleanly. And then, of course, you have Lara, who's more economical with his output, but his punches, punch for punch, he did seem to be throwing the heavier shots. So, by the way, Butch. Gonzalo Anaya just donated through the super chat. Shout out to Gonzalo. Gonzalo, how many times I gotta tell you, man? I appreciate your contributions, but you can leave a message. Don't waste your money by just leaving it blank. Give us a shout out.
He's gonna be talking in the Hangouts. So
he's gonna be what?
Talking in the Hangouts.
Yeah, that's true. And
he doesn't need to. Anyways.
But okay. So I wanted to ask you, Butcher, did you see? Because I know body punches are hard to see whether they landed clean or not. What did you think? Did you think that body work from Castaño was effective?
Effective, yes. Yes. I mean, what I'm gonna say is that should count as a reason why he was winning some rounds because he was hitting the body clean and flush. So, a lot of judges overlook the body work, but I mean, come on, you can't. It's part of the. You're allowed to hit the body. He was hitting Lara, cleaning the body, counted as part of the criteria of effective aggressiveness.
Right. Well, so what was your decision? Speaking about the body shots,
115, 113.
So, but who did you have winning? Is what I'm asking.
Castaño.
Castaño. Okay. So obviously you do think that his aggression and his body shots were effective.
Yeah, he was just a more aggressive. He wasn't like, I don't know. Some people were making him out to be like some great fighter.
He's
I
pretty
saw
good.
the Rechenko fight, and it wasn't really. I mean, he was a good fighter, and he's fighting an old Lara, to be honest. We know that, right?
Right.
And so we were expecting a little bit more, I guess, from this Argentinian guy, especially in all this talk that was behind him. So,
well, let's see what people are saying in the chat room. See how they had it. Let me just rewind here a little bit. The chat room, see if I missed anything. Chris Gonzalez, shout out. Oh, by the way, let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat room. We got Fight Scout Boxing for IBF, Jason Bourne, Rob Dick Long, Jason Bourne, Johnny Boy, Azzy, FL88, Shepherd of Sons, Precise is probably going to come on as well or come back. All Boxing. He probably has something to say about Ortiz. That's all he talks about because it's related to Deontay Wilder. Guerrero de la Info, New Day, Punisher. Okay, so let's see what they have to say about the fight. Hold on a second. All right, so Chris Gonzalez says, Lara outboxed Castaño clearly. Okay, so he has...
What?
Chris Gonzalez had it that way. New Day says, people said Lara would KO Castaño, LOL. As he says, Lara and Castaño did throw 1,700 punches in total. That's a lot of output, considering it's a Rizlandi Lara fight. E.M. Serrano says, Ortiz couldn't hammer the hammer. Shepherd of Sound says, draw was fair. It was a great fight. As he says, they both got robbed. Important thing is Ortiz won. Big Boys Boxing says, I had Castaño winning 115-113, but the draw ain't a robbery. Johnny Boy says, I lost brain cells on that Steve Farhood scorecard. Yeah, I heard a lot of people were complaining about that scorecard. He had Lara. Didn't he have Lara winning by a substantial margin, I believe? And Gonzalez says, Lara looked cool and composed. Well, when he doesn't look cool. He has that deer in the headlights look. Remember when he tried to confront Canelo after Canelo beat the shit out of Angulo and Lara went on to the podium, but instead of like taking the mic away or something, you know, doing something really
in the back all awkward.
he just he stood. That's like what I do when I'm in a crowded bar and I'm trying to get the bartender's attention, but he or she's on. You know, that's what I mean. You're just standing at the bar and they're like, "Come on, Lara, you gotta go all out or don't go in at all." You know what I mean? That's my philosophy too when I'm with women. Go all in or not at all.
Hey, if Lara would have fought like this when he fought Canelo, what would have happened?
He would have gotten butchered. There was a reason why he was leaping away from the ropes and onto the other side of the ring. Those body shots were hurting him. And Castaño just didn't have that type of punching power. So let's keep going real quick with the chat. Punisher says, Chris Gonzalez, different judges use different criteria. That's true. Man, Chris Gonzalez comes back and says, yeah, and they can't see everything that we see on camera. That's another very good point. I mean, you know, Joe Rogan keeps saying it's a good idea that judges should be watching the fights via monitor in a room. That way they're away from the crowd, they're away from the commentators, whatever. They should just be watching via a monitor the fight without the sound on. And they would get the best vantage point from that one. So that's probably something they should implement. As for the fight, Bucho, I thought that the draw was fair. I'd have to rewatch the fight. But one thing that I do tell people all the time is do what Castaño does, which is go into the ring and let your fucking hands go, because you give yourself the benefit of the doubt in the eyes of the judges. You know what I mean? But if you don't throw punches, then especially if they're not flashy punches, then the judges just don't tend to pay that much attention. So you gotta let your hands go. Even if you're not hitting that target clean, you're just hitting shoulders, body, crotch, whatever. At least you're hitting something, and at least the judges see your hands moving, and that gives you the benefit of the doubt in their eyes. So I like Castaño's style. Big question though is, Bucho, Castaño's about like what, 5'7", 5'8"? He doesn't have that much punching power. He does have nice punches. 5'6". Can he compete against guys like Charlo, Munguia, Jared Hurd? Guys that are really big for the division. And tall.
I don't know. What do you think his punching power is at?
I think it's decent. I think it gets people's attention. But see, that's the thing. If he's going to be fighting longer guys who hit harder than him, he's going to have to outwork him and be able to get on the inside. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that against...
Exactly. Let's say he get into like one of those wars, like in the trenches and against Jared Hurd.
Yeah, that's...
Or even Munguia. Like, who's going to last the longest?
See, I think Jared Hurd can match his pace, and of course the problem is he's bigger. So if you're what's it called? One of those fighters that's trying to outwork the other one, high output fighter, but you can't punch, like Wayne McCullough or Jeff Fanish or Juan Diaz. If you're in a brawl with a guy that can match your pace and your output, and he hits harder than you, you're gonna have to go to Plan B, unless you have a better chin or something. You know what I mean? And I don't see him beating Jared Hurd. I don't see a lot of people beating Jared Hurd at 154, just mainly because he's a big weight bully that should be fighting at 175, at least 175. The guy's a whale. It's a fucking beached whale. But yeah, so Castaño, I don't know, man. I don't think he can beat Jared Hurd. He could beat... Listen, you know what? You're bringing up a good point here. Let's go to the ratings. 154-pound ratings via Ring Magazine. Let's see what they have to say and see who he can beat from there, who he can match. So you can see Jared Hurd, number 1. Lara, number 2. I wonder if he's going to remain there. Jaime Munguia, Tony Harrison. I think, Castaño, I think he could beat Harrison. Just outwork him. Harrison just doesn't seem to be able to step it up an extra gear. Charlo, I think he's too big and hits too hard for Castaño, and he's sharp. But then again, you never know. He did seem pretty gun-shy against Harrison. Soro, whom Castaño already beat. I think Castaño obviously has a very good chance. I think he beats Julian Williams, but I think it's a tricky proposition. Kell Brook, that's a good one, because a lot of people feel that Kell Brook is past his best.
He would quit or something at the end.
You think so? Well, yeah, the male stripper was putting it on him pretty good. Yeah. So And then again, if Kell Brook can implement the game plan he put up against Sean Porter, what was it, 5 years ago now?
Oh my God.
Well, yeah, I
5
mean,
years
I'm just
ago.
saying it's
Yeah, I mean, I know, I understand, but I'm saying it was 5 years ago. Wow, man.
yeah, 5 years.
I don't
It
even
wasn't.
think I don't even think that Kell Brook exists anymore.
Didn't Cameron bring that point up during the podcast? He says if you think about it, his big win was in the last, not the last World Cup, the before last World Cup, 2014 Brazil.
Shit.
It's a big. It's been a long time, man. And those are the ratings. You see, 154 pounds. It's not exactly the biggest division. Erickson Lubin, who did beat, who stopped Issue Smith. I think he's the first guy to ever stop Smith. He's number 10 now, and he wants a rematch against Charlo. So we'll see what happens there with the 154-pound division. Also, Ortiz versus the Hammer happened last night. And I think for everybody that thinks Ortiz is this big powerhouse, I think he was a bit exposed there that he's just, he can beat guys like Christian Hammer, who's a good fighter, but if you want to put him up against the top 5 heavyweights, his age is going to be playing, and his age and his lack of activity, his lack of punch output is really going to hurt him against those guys. Wouldn't you agree there, Bucho?
Yeah, I completely agree. It's a good division, man.
The heavyweight, that's the thing. When was the last time people were speaking so much about the heavyweight division? In the last 10 years, I don't remember.
Sarcastic, by the way. I mean, the top, there's a few fights, but in general,
Don't get all crazy on me! George is getting upset!
I didn't know you were being sarcastic. I thought you were being honest.
When it comes to names, I don't know. It seems like there's some names that have been built. Now, whether there's a lot of quality in this division, I don't know. But certainly there's names. More names than before,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's got some interesting little fights to make there. Let's see what people are saying in the chat room. I want to see what people say about Castaño a little bit more.
And then we'll send the invites, no?
Yeah. Danny Lopez says, what's up, BD and Bucho? Chris Gonzalez, Azzy says, Joe Rogan is a piece of shit. I tell you something. Joe Rogan, it's a love-hate relationship with him. Either they love him or they hate him. EM Serrano says, Lara's legs are gone. He just planted himself against the ropes. Johnny Boy says, well, if John Jones met the guy that shook hands with Brock Lesnar once, who by chance, they're talking about steroids. Shepherd Son says, Garcia versus Castaño would be a great fight. I'd pick Sergio over him, though. Oh, Sergio. Yeah, Sergio. No, wait a minute. Sergio. Who the fuck is Sergio Garcia? Anyway, I'm losing my mind here a little bit, so we'll get back to that. Good point, BDA, says the Punisher. I know it's a good point. All my points are good. Don't worry about it. Shepherd Zone says, no, Charlo sleeps him. He's talking about Castaño. Chris Gonzalez says, Castaño let out a big smile at the split draw because he gets to keep the belt. Gonzalo Anaya says, heavyweight is a decent division. Azzy says, exactly, Rogan is scum. Whoa. Shepherd Zone says, beach whale, LOL. Big Boy says, Castaño versus Harrison is a good fight. Gonzalo says, if Errol Spence can make 147, I bet Castaño should be able to as well. Well, didn't they mention in the Showtime telecast that Castaño was trying to make 147 and he actually ended up going to the hospital, and after that he suffered a series of panic attacks. It's the first time I've ever heard of a guy suffering panic attacks after failing to lose weight. Usually when you lose weight, you feel better about yourself. And this guy was, well, he's Argentinian. What do you want? Brook versus Castaño is a good one, says Johnny Boy. It's a great division. Fight Scout says, I had the Italian guy winning every round after 2 until the 9th. I just turned it off because Lara was putting me to sleep. Italian? He's Argentinian, Fight Scout. What's the matter with you? Well, then again, technically, a lot of Argentinians have Italian blood in them. That's why they never shut up about it. Argentinian people love to talk to you about how they have that strong European heritage in their blood. Like, we don't give a fuck. You're living in Latin America. Big Boy says Ortiz was never a killer, like many say. Jason Bourne says Bucho's sarcastic response to UBDA has to stop. I agree, Jason. I think I gotta put a stop to it right now because people have had it with you, Bucho. People have had it with you and your disrespect. All right, we're 50-50 here. You're not the boss. I'm not the boss. But we should treat each other. What about Gaia?
Where is Gaia anyway?
Remember, we fucking hired a Japanese IT guy to put into quarantine, so we never talked about it again. And we said we were never going to talk about it again until you decided to bring it up.
Oh, sorry.
Butcher, do me a favor. Stick to the sarcastic jokes and you snark, liberal snark, and you leave leading the show to me. What do you think about that?
All right, I'll do that.
All right. Jason Bohr says, Recognize sold me Advil that gave me anxiety attacks. Yeah, you shouldn't buy that counterfeit medication from Recognize, especially if you see him selling it out of the van in Brooklyn. All right, so that was okay. We'll talk more about Ortiz with our panelists. I'm sure they can't wait to talk about that. But as for Lara versus Castaño, it was a good fight. I'd have to rewatch it again, but people are split on it, and obviously the people in the chat room as well. So I guess we'll have to. Butcher, if you want to send the invites, go ahead and do that, please. And as you can see here, look, I'll give you a bit of an example of what people are talking about. Like, this is the comment section of Ring TV's article regarding Castaño versus Lara, and this guy says, I had Big Mouth Lara winning by a couple of rounds, but the draw isn't too bad. Reverse Outpost says, this is how I saw it. Castaño's flurries with Lara against the ropes looked impressive initially, but so few were cleanly landed. Then another guy says, I agree with you. I can see how you would score the fight for Castaño, but I don't think he effectively pressured Lara enough. Good fight, and the judges got it right, says another guy. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. This guy's saying Lara's shorts were representing the Puerto Rican flag. I want to get to the bottom of that, because some people, I can't tell the difference between the Cuban flag and the Puerto Rican flag. To me, they all look the same. Same fucking countries with the same music and dancing or whatever. Hold on, Cuban flag. Then we got the Puerto Rican flag. I'm not a big traveler, by the way, so you can understand why I can't tell apart those flags. All right, so here we go. So here we have the Puerto Rican flag. We have Puerto Rico. And then we have the Cuban flag. Now, you can see the big difference is the lines. The colors are inverted. Puerto Rico's got red, and Cuba's got blue lines. So now let's see. Let me go, because I know we have the picture. Somebody posted it in the chat room of our Hangouts. Now he does have the Puerto Rican fucking flag.
Yeah, the triangle is red or something, I think.
Yeah, the lines are red. The lines on the flag are red. That's a Puerto Rican flag. That is really shameful. How the fuck can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Yeah, then it's too late to take it out. I mean, once you get the trunks like a few days before the fight,
he can do it Mexican style. He can grab a Sharpie and just fucking block the lines out or whatever. Just block the flag.
Or just wear something else. I wouldn't wear another flag. Like, you know what I mean? I'm supposed to be wearing the Cuban flag. I end up wearing the...
Maybe his wife's Puerto Rican or something. You get that Puerto Rican pussy. You'll wear whatever she tells you to wear in the ring. I mean, I had a fucking... well, I shouldn't say that. Shouldn't tell that story. People could think ill of me next time. But yeah, so Lara was wearing those Puerto Rican the Puerto Rican flag in his trunks. And can you imagine if he didn't mean to wear that? And she shows up in the dressing room, they show him the trunks, and he goes, ¿Qué pasó aquí, amigo? ¿Qué pasó, amigo? Yo no la cola la bandera cubana. Who's the culprit behind this? It was probably Revenga.
Revenga?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him. You never know. Remember they had history, those two guys? In the camp, in the refugee camp, when Lara came over to the USA. I'm telling you something's wrong here, and I would love to see who the culprit is. Long story short, because that's gotta be embarrassing for a guy who prides himself on being Cuban and all that. All of a sudden they give you the Puerto Rican flag. Listen, even if you're Cuban, Chinese, whatever, you don't want to end up with the Puerto Rican flag in your trunks. No offense to any Puerto Ricans out there, and to Recognize, but that's just not a good look. By the way, who do we have in the Hangouts? We have. Okay, who's Jono?
That's Kiwi Boxing.
Oh, Kiwi Boxing. Okay, so we got Kiwi Boxing and we got Stu on the line. So
I wasn't bad though.
I told you what's going to happen to Price. I told you he's going to be sleeping. I told you the ambulance is going to come. The oxygen mask is going to come out. I told you he's going to miss the main event. I told you all them things were going to happen.
All right. And we also got Kiwi Boxing on the line. Gentlemen, are you there?
What's happening?
What's happening?
Hey, good to have you, everybody, on board for this one. Talking a little bit of Lara. First of
Yeah.
all, am I being too harsh by saying that nobody wants to wear the Puerto Rican flag, even Puerto Ricans in their trunks?
I mean, I'll no comment on that one. I mean, no comment.
All right. And we also have Johnny Boy on the line. We got, I think, Gonzalo too. Is that Gonzalo? Yeah, Gonzalo. And we got Precise on the line. So let's introduce Precise with his intro there.
Dependent upon how you interpret the data.
What's up with all the transvestites in Hollywood, though?
Because if you're a postmodernist and you don't have any standards, you're always going to keep moving the goalpost, and you're never going to stick to your own standards because you don't have any standards.
And we also got Jimmy on the line.
I had a bad trip at a wedding in Maine, and it was a stormy night, right? I'm on LSD. Oh, I was fucking freaking out. It was horrible. I'll never take it again.
All right. So, gentlemen, thanks for being on, everybody. Gonzalo, Precise, Jimmy, Johnny Boy, Kiwi Boxing, Stu. Let's start with Stu, because I'm curious with the Lara fight. Last year, I asked you in the build-up to the Lara Hurt fight, I wanted your opinion on it, and you reacted like a guy who's going out with a crazy woman and just can't handle the relationship anymore, and you just gave up. Did you end up staying up to watch this fight? I'm curious.
No, I didn't, and I had no intentions of it. I mean, there's just no excitement whatsoever. I mean, I think I ended up watching this conspiracy documentary on fucking YouTube. I just could not be, like I said, it wasn't on UK TV, so I had to find a stroppy stream. You know, it's late at night. Them guys, you know my opinions on Ortiz, and he proved me right again last night. I mean, the guy, useless. I'm sorry, but he is. He's useless. I mean,
you're being very
well,
harsh,
he is,
man.
isn't he?
Useless.
Useless.
I told you yesterday this guy was garbage. This is no boogie man, my ass. Do you know what I mean?
You know, it reminds me of when. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, what do I say about it? I mean, I picked him to win on points, so I got that right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I picked Lara to win by stoppage because I thought we might see the Lara that turned up against Hurd, but I didn't watch it. But what I'm hearing is that he was on the back foot again, stinking the joint out. But I'm not saying that happened, but that's what I'm hearing. So he could have won the fight, but just wasn't active enough. So this is what you get with Lara. I mean, it was just a terrible card from start to finish. And,
all right, well,
you know, the fact that we can't even watch these cards in the UK. Al Heyman, none of his cards are on in the UK. So basically, you're getting a few guys in America getting to watch it, and that's it. So this guy, man, if he cared about boxing that much, surely he'd be selling these fights to people around the world. Unless no one wants to buy him, I don't know.
Good
well,
point.
look. It wasn't that bad a fight. You didn't watch the fight, but I'm here to tell you, Stu.
I'm not saying I did watch the fight. That's what I'm saying. I can't comment on the fight, but I'm just saying that it wasn't shown live in the UK. In the UK, fucking, they'll get any fight, but for some reason, Heyman cards are not. I mean, I know he's got a little deal with ITV that he shows. I think he shows a few now and again ITV, but that surely should have been on one of the channels, but it weren't, and I wasn't going to find a stream to watch them two.
It was definitely one of the better Lara fights you're ever gonna see, you know. But I mean, not that it was fucking Gotti Ward or nothing, but it was a decent fight. Though it was a decent fight.
Yeah, styles make fights, and this made for a fairly entertaining. For Lara standards, it made for a fairly entertaining fight. Now, Kiwi, what did you think of the fight, and who did you have winning the decision? Did you agree with the decision?
I wasn't too far off, I don't think. I had it one to Castaño, and you know, it's pretty close, 1 round difference, and it's a draw, so I'm not complaining. It's no robbery for me.
All right, so there you go. So you're not one of those people that are crying robbery. Speaking of Castaño, did you think, I'll ask you the same thing I asked Butcher, do you think his body shots were effective in there? You must have, right? Because
I think they were effective enough, enough to catch the judge's eye, and at the end of the day, that's what counts if you're not going to knock the dude out. You know, the volume as well, I think, was his biggest friend.
Yeah.
Now, that's the thing, because a lot of people prior to the fight hadn't, in this hangout, hadn't seen Castaño before. And then some people started watching him and started saying, "Oh, this guy's a beast." He's a little beast. He's a little pit bull in there. Kind of, he reminds me a little bit of Timothy Bradley. You know, when Timothy Bradley would come forward. But do you think? How do you see him in this 154-pound division compared to guys like Charlo, Harrison, Munguia, Hurd?
I think against the likes of Charlo and Munguia, he hasn't got much of a chance. He's not big enough, but I think he's got a shot at maybe beating Tony Harrison. But yeah, I don't think he can kick it with the guys that are the bigger guys of the division.
So you're saying he can't hang around the kitchen because he can't handle the heat. All right, that's well said.
Exactly.
All right. How about Johnny Boy? How about you? How did you see? I think I know your opinion because you were in the hangout last night. But how did you see the fight?
Well, I went out on a limb and said Castaño was going to stop him, but I was just making it interesting. But I had Castaño winning 7-5, but it wasn't no robbery. It was a close fight. Even my old man called me up. He's like, "Yeah, I thought the other kid won, but it was close." And he was like, "The worst part of the night was Steve fucking Farhad's scorecard, but other than that, it wasn't too bad of a fight."
Yeah, what was his scorecard? Because I forgot.
Well, BDA, I thought Farhad had it right after 6 because I had it 3 apiece after 6 rounds. But then he went on to give Lara like fucking 4 or 5 straight rounds. I was like, okay, dude, come on now. You know, people give Harold Letterman all this shit, and I agree he did start to slip the last handful of years. But back in the day, Harold Letterman, by my estimation, was pretty much right around the money for the most part. Back in the day, anyway.
Well, he could have his weird. Every now and then, he had a weird fucking scorecard. Now, as to your assertion that you picked Castaño by stoppage just to make it interesting, I call bullshit on that. I think you really did think Castaño was going to stop Lara, and I'm here to call you out on it.
Oh well, I was going to say Castaño. Well, I was going to say Castaño on points, but I was like, what the fuck? Let's say stoppage. I don't know.
Yeah,
well, and Bucho, did I not say that Lara had 7 inches of reach on him too?
Yeah, you kept saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just trying to make it interesting.
If those were 7 inches, you've been lying to your girlfriend. Now listen, I wanted to ask you something. I wanted to ask you, did you? Because there was this whole thing about Lara's trunks. Did you talk to your Puerto Rican cousins about that? Because apparently Lara was wearing the Puerto Rican flag instead of the Cuban flag.
No, he had black and red on. I thought he was Tank Davis's dad or something in there. I don't know.
Well, I'm looking at the fucking stripes here from the flag. Apparently the flag, hold on a second, I think I got it on here. The Cuban flag, as you can see, I'm going to put it up. Cuban flag has blue stripes, Puerto Rican flag has red stripes, and the stripes on Lara's trunks were indeed red. So that's Puerto Rico right there, baby.
I don't know. Fuck, they probably...
Yeah, Mateus Lisa
didn't
says,
even pay attention to it. I don't know. I didn't talk to him.
Mateus Lisa says it was the U.S. flag. I'm looking at the picture right here of his trunks. It's a Puerto Rican flag, or maybe it's a Texas. It kind of looks like the Texas state flag. I don't know. Listen, who cares? Let's move on to. All right. So who? Oh, so okay. So we got Jimmy on the line. Jimmy, how did you?
Buddy?
Good to have you on board, man. Did you end up catching the fight? And
yes, I did.
What are your thoughts on the decision? Fair?
Yeah, no, it was fair. I mean, if anything, I almost had it a draw. I think that kid Castillo, he's got a good engine on him, and he got to take a good shot. But he throws crab punches. He throws too many wide punches. If he threw a couple more punches down the line, straight, he would be more effective. And Lara has absolutely no mid-range game at all. At all. I'm surprised how little mid-range he has. As talented, like athletic as he is and the sharp shooting as he is, but bang, bang, it's all 1-2, that front foot out. But mid-range, he's gotten better on the inside. He's got a good, decent uppercut, actually probably a little better than average, but his mid-range game sucks.
Yeah, he never developed it. He never needed it, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. He never did. Exactly. Good point.
Good
But yeah, no, it was no really good significant punches. It's hard to, but I wouldn't have given the fight to Lara because when a fight starts, but in my theory is this: if I was judging my judge cap, when you throw a combination, pop up, and then as the guy comes in and you just fucking lunge out and grab him, That to me, no, for me, that's I don't score that. Like to me, that's like okay, you're negating fighting. That's not through skill. You didn't start. You're just tying the dude up like bear hugging him every time comes in. I don't like that shit.
Yeah, that's what James DeGale did the other day. Just lead
Yes,
with
he
a
did,
shot
Stu.
and
That's what Floyd did against Pacquiao.
That's what
Yeah,
Floyd
but-
did for 20 fucking years.
I'm glad they showed
stiff arming
that.
last night. It was that fucking and Lara's stiff arming. Now back in the day, you could never like if you get one warning. I know in the amateurs, if you held your arm out, because I was good at that too. I'd put my hand on your forehead when I was in the corner, and then you could just but you do it sparring. But the judges would, I mean, the fucking ref, one warning, you do it again. That was a point. And the fact he let him do it over and over.
Yeah.
How many times would Jack Johnson have got disqualified in today's game? I mean, the amount of holding.
Oh, come on, man.
It's like 70 rounds as well. I mean,
He's a national hero. Stop it. Yeah, by the way, Jimmy, you're from Massachusetts, right? The state of Massachusetts?
Yeah.
All right. So isn't that where John Ruiz is from, too?
Who?
Oh, boy.
John Ruiz.
John Ruiz, the heavyweight?
Yeah. Wasn't he from the state, same state?
I think it was from Worcester. I don't know. I was never a
Well,
big
there you
fan.
go.
I don't know anything about him, really, to be honest with you.
You probably learned how to clinch from him, but you're just not telling us. And by the way, I'm glad you guys were mentioning the clinching, because even in Showtime, they showed the replay of him just lunging in and clinching. They actually showed that as a fucking, during the replay, instead of a punch, they showed him clinching. And yeah, wasn't it Mauro Ronaldo that said that too, that fucking Lara is a one-trick pony? Same thing.
Very one-dimensional. That was surprising. He's been very, well, then again, you don't know with him because, I'm not trying to make fun of him, but he has up and down, very manic. But he's been lately, I noticed last couple of shows, but I saw his Twitter page and he gets a lot of crap for being like, laying on the hyperbole for the PBC fighters. So last couple of fights, I noticed he has been saying some honest shit. Right. And he was correct in his assessment, I thought. I thought he was very typical, very predictable.
Well, he just gets a little overexcited sometimes, is all I think, Jimmy.
He suffers from Tourette's or something.
I can't even use my account. I had to fucking use my girlfriend's brother's account to see his page. He blocked me. I have no idea. I've never interacted with that dude. I've never fucking commented about him. And one day I said, I put his hashtag, and I was checking to see if he had a page, and it wouldn't come up. I'm like, what the fuck? And then when I finally got it up, it said blocked. I'm like, huh? So I don't know, whatever. Maybe he just doesn't like guineas. I don't know. Fuck him.
I can imagine.
Punch did that to me, blocked me on. I could never comment on the Box Nation cards because he blocked me. I can't even remember what I said to him, but he blocked me, man. Fucking Bunce. He blocks everyone.
Yeah, he's a drunk.
Who's that now?
Steve Bunce. He's a right fucking fanny.
The drunk guy.
I know who he is. Yeah, the drunk guy. Yeah.
He hypes up bums on Box Nation. He'll talk about some guy, and you think, oh, this guy, it sounds like he's going to be a real talent. Then he reads off his record. He's like 16-5 or something. You know what I mean?
All right. All right. Let's move on to Gonzalo. See what he has to say. Gonzalo, did you end up watching the fight, and who did you have winning?
His prediction was...
You're going to bring up his prediction?
No, he actually said Castaño decision, so...
Oh, there you go. Well,
yeah. Hello, can you hear me? Had to go back to the bamboo stick.
I see. All right. Gonzalo, good to have you on board. Who did you end up having as the winner in this fight?
I picked Castaño decision. It was close enough that it's okay with me. We live to fight another day, so it was a draw.
It was a draw.
It was a draw fair. Yeah, it was okay. I watched it on YouTube after, and I couldn't really appreciate it that well because I watched it on my phone and it was the Russian version, and I guess the camera angle was like really close up, so I couldn't really appreciate the way I would have liked to. But I did watch it. I saw Castaño's punch output. It was all right.
Did you overrate
Boxing Style's not going to let you forget that one. Boxing Style's going to bring that up in every show he's on, that you got that one wrong.
Yeah.
He talks to me.
Well, did I over...
No, I thought it was a good pick. I thought he was the only one that really... Well, I think Johnny said knockout. I mean, that's a bit far-fetched, but...
See, I agree. I agree with Jimmy. He throws too many hooks, and he doesn't throw enough jabs, and his arms are kind of short. He's got T-Rex arms. but he has really good output, and he has a decent chin, so he'll be trouble for a lot of guys. I think he'll be trouble for Munguia because Munguia gets hit a lot. So he's gonna get hit a lot against Castaño, but against the likes of a Jared Hurd that has longer arms, and he's rangy, he's gonna have a hard time, and he'll most likely lose that fight.
Yeah,
But against fighters like Tony Harrison as well, that don't throw enough punches, yeah, he has a good shot at beating him.
Yeah, see, I'm on the same page as you. I was cool with the draw. I had him winning 7-5, but it was a close fight, and like I say, I think he's just going to be a little bit too small. I remember I heard you, BDA, you and Bucho talking for. Everybody jumped on. I think he's going to be it's going to be a little difficult for him because he is pretty small, stocky guy for the division.
Yeah.
I think it was the American trunks he was wearing. His nickname's the American Dream, but I don't know, like you said.
Well, didn't they say the American Dream because he puts you to sleep watching him fight? That was a joke, right?
No.
That was a Puerto Rican flag, by the way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's inverted. It's the exact same thing as a Cuban flag. It's just it's red where you see red on a Cuban. It's blue. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what I don't understand, what did they come in the mail that day? Like when did they get the fucking shirts? Like I mean, they didn't have time to fix that, or they didn't have the money, or did he just not care? Can he just say fuck it? I'll go with the Puerto Rican flag. Nobody will notice.
Well, sometimes you get them the day of the fight, no? Like I remember my dad, he got his gloves for the Mayweather fight like a day or two before. Remember?
Yeah, the shorts. They usually get the shorts well in advance because they have to get them designed, and they get a designer in, and they'll sort that out weeks before the fight. So he's had them shorts. He's had them shorts a while. I don't think he's even realised. I don't think he's even realised he's got the wrong fucking flag on his shorts. But I mean, the American Dream, I'd say more like the American Coma. That'd be more.
What I don't understand too, I don't appreciate the fact that he said Hurd won because he was American born. It's like, dude, you got your fucking citizenship. You've been here 9 years, and the best you can come up with is K. When he's talking, K. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, really? You've been here fucking all this time. You can't even make an effort to learn English?
Yeah, when those guys order their trunks, when Browner gets his trunks that says Black and Miles and Swisher Sweets on there, he gets them well in advance, bro.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good. We're turning into the fucking fashion channel here. I want to get into to Precise. Precise, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, good to have you on board, Precise. Can you hear me?
All right.
All right, good,
I
good.
can hear you.
Fantastic. All right, first of all, before we continue, I just want to say Revolucion, shout out to Revolucion04. He says, who just donated via the super chat. He says, hey, random question, but at some point tonight, I want to hear Johnny Boy recognize and anyone else's favorite hip-hop artists. Yeah, we'll get to that. Why not? Because I remember, I think he asked the same thing last time and we didn't get to it. So shout out to Revolucion. Thanks a lot for your contribution. We're certainly getting us to that fucking calling show. And we'll talk about hip-hop if the time allows. Oh, I'll make the time. For Revolucion, I'll make the time. Why the fuck not? All right, Precise. Curious to get your thoughts on the fight. Who did you have winning? Or did you even watch the fight, first of all?
No, I watched it. I wouldn't be here. I had it 7-4-1 for Castaño. I mean, you travel out of your country, you come to Lara's adopted home country, if you will. You get a draw. That means you beat him. I thought he pressed the action, as we all saw. I mean, the rounds were close, definitely, you know what I mean? But I didn't, in my opinion, you got to give it to the guy pressing the action. I don't think Lara landed one head-snapping punch the whole fight. So much as people talk about these fucking overrated-ass Cubans and their awesome defense, Castaño's defense was far better than Rizlandi Lara's defense, as was Hammer's, but I guess we'll get to that later. And I think... I can't say it was a robbery because the rounds were close. But if boxing were fair, Castaño would have gotten the nod. Let me put it to you this way. I mean, and if they don't have a rematch, then that's just bullshit. They should.
It's a good point, considering that Castaño was the one coming forward against let's say what you want about Lara. He is a sharp puncher with that 1-2, and he wasn't landing as cleanly as he wanted on Castaño. So, yeah, if you want to compare defense, I'm always more impressed with the guy who can come forward and avoid getting hit than the guy who just spends the whole night.
And he was the bully. Lara was looking sorry for himself, like he always does. He's just covering up, and all of a sudden, body shots don't count. I mean, he was beating up that dude's body, like, and
that
Lara
brings up...
just, like, he didn't really back him up. He couldn't discourage him. He was just pot shotting and not really landing very cleanly. And to me, and he was headbutting, holding. It's just, come on, man. The dude's so overrated. They put him in the ring with these fucking tailor-made opponents because Castaño is tailor fucking made for someone like Lara. But the problem is that Lara isn't very good. So tailor-made guys, he struggles with them, like Angulo, for example, right? And then you put him in there with Hurd, and it's all over for him, you know.
Well,
he must be up there with Badu Jack for draws now. I mean,
that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to ask you guys. Like, you know, to precise his point about how he seems to look sorry for himself when the pressure is on. And like Stu just said, you look at his record, he's got 3 draws, 3 losses, has never been able to pull it off in the big one. I mean, he's got some solid wins. Martyrosian, you know, Angulo, Austin Trout. But
Martyrosian beat him twice, man. Come on.
All right, but what I'm saying is, you know, he can hang in there with the best. But these people that were, and I know these people that were saying that he could beat the best. I mean, he's pretty good.
Golovkin, right? Can you imagine old as Golovkin in that ring the other night? I mean, come on.
Oh no, that'd have been destruction.
Seriously, look. This is the problem with Lara. Like, he's like you guys were saying, all these Cubans are very limited. Lara is just downright one-dimensional. But what he does do, he does pretty well. So that's why he's been, you know, very successful. And he's got these long ass arms that he's been able to take advantage of. But, you know, when you pressure him, he tries to maintain distance, but he doesn't control the space between you and his opponent. So once he runs out of, you know, the ring, you could just close the distance on him and pound on his ass. But as soon as he's got space behind him, he'll be able to catch you with something, maybe. But as soon as you put him on those ropes, he just doesn't do anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's like Rican though. Like
exactly.
Fucking Rican though. He's a 154-pound version of Rican though. Except he didn't abandon his family like Rican though did he? At least he tried to bring him. What? I'm just asking. I'm asking.
But he likes those light-skinned chicks. That's just the same.
Well, there you go. Yeah, but I like Stu's comparison to Lara to Badu Jack. The good fighters, they can hang in there with the best, but they can't really pull the trigger when it comes to the big fucking fight. You know, they don't have those big wins sprinkle, a big standout win. Good wins, but nothing that says pound for pound. By the way, we got Recognize on the line.
Don't get fooled when they tell you that the crime rate is down in New York. Every time I watch the local news, they're always talking about, well, there was a stabbing here, there was a stabbing there, there was a shooting there, but the crime is down.
All right. Recognize. Are you there?
What's up?
Good to have you on board, man. You're getting a little late to the party here. I suspect you were the one that had something to do with Lara wearing a Puerto Rican flag on his trunks.
I thought it was weird that he was wearing that. I said, wait a second, why has he got the Puerto Rican colors on?
Can you confirm if he's
Cuban?
Can you confirm if he's going out with a Puerto Rican lady or something? Maybe that's why.
Oh, there's a good chance.
Yeah.
No, that's me. That's me, BDA, not Lara.
You're going out with Lara?
Did they announce the 2018 Fight of the Year yet? Like officially, like they go by ring, I guess most people go by.
It was Canelo Triple G too.
That's what I thought, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was. Did you hear him all night kept saying, "Fucking Hurd, you know, Fight of the Year, Fight of the Year." I'm like, all night they kept saying that. And another thing too, what pissed me off is, he's fucking 1-2-ing. 90% of those 1-2s were caught on fucking Castillo's back of his wrists.
Yeah. Jimmy,
you know what I mean? And he kept saying, he's splitting the guard. I'm like, fucking fight you watching. No, he's not.
Well, they gave AJ Klitschko the Fight of the Year for 2017. Me personally, I thought it was Chocolatito Sorong Visai won, but I was fine with Klitschko and them getting it too. You know, they were both great fights.
Yeah, I mean, but like Jimmy said, I mean, they kept saying that Lara Hurd was a fighter. Maybe it was a Fight of the Year officially for Showtime, but overall,
it was a runner-up to me. I thought it was a very good fight, but I don't think
it was Showtime's.
But the thing is, with this Showtime PBC, there's no boxing outside whatever they show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought Quick Valdez was a better fight than that.
I agree. I was just gonna say that.
Wait, wasn't that on Showtime?
That was ESPN. Recognized.
ESPN. Never mind.
Hey, by the way, Recognize. Just real quick, who did you have winning? Did you watch the fight, Lara versus Castaño?
Yeah, I thought Castaño won.
All right, So you did find his. Let me ask you: do you think Castaño? We'll get everybody into this. Do you think Castaño can compete against the big guys at 154?
Man, I don't know about Lara. Lara might be too big for him. I mean, not Lara. Excuse me. Hurd.
Yeah.
Hurd. Hurd might be too big for him. Maybe the same thing with some of the bigger guys like what's his name, Harris and
Munguia.
And Munguia, and what's the other Charlo brother? The 154 Charlo. Those guys might be too big for him, bro. You know.
Hey, can I tell you guys what I heard?
I wonder if Castaño could make 147, man.
Apparently, they said he tried and he ended up getting panic attacks or something. Like he ended up going schizoid on people. That's what they said on Showtime. I don't know.
So wait, he was going to so like he was dehydrating and he's going delirious.
Well, apparently after.
Well, no, I guess the serious. Like he had to go for a year and a half see a psychiatrist because he had panic attacks, probably from just the fucking. But I was told Hurd's got one more fight at 154.
He looks very heavy, like a big bone.
What a fag. Yeah, usually Argentinians are like that.
Did the ducks fly off with his goods like they did Tony, BDA?
Did the what?
Like they did to Tony when he was.
Oh yeah. I think they mentioned that in the telecast. They said that Castaño, after he failed to make weight, he was barbecuing or something, and then he fucking passed out and tipped over the fucking barbecue. It was a whole big thing. But
see, when you're giving away so much reach, you have to find a way to get inside. I mean, like Sean Porter does, he just charges his opponent and then does all his work in the pocket, sort of thing. I think that's the sort of style he's going to have to adapt, because if he's going to sit at range against these big guys like Hurd and even Munguia and the big guys, man. I mean, I think he's going to struggle.
Yeah, well, Stuart, you said you haven't watched them fight. You haven't watched him really fight, but I have to say he does that pretty well already. That's why I don't give him too much shit that he doesn't throw a jab too often. I mean, against a sharpshooter. Like Lara did well, but he just didn't throw enough. If somebody's gonna throw a lot of jabs, it's gonna give him problems and straight punches down the pipe, like Jimmy was saying. But I don't give him too much shit because he does know how to move his waist and catch slipping and dodge punches and catch them with his gloves. So his defense is pretty good. And once he gets inside that space where he's on your chest, it works well for him throwing them crab punches.
Well, that's definitely what he's got to do if he's that sort of frame. I mean, it sounds like he should be at 147, to be honest with you.
He's got to shift, man. He's got to just walk forward, not use like classic footwork, but just put one foot in front of the other while throwing punches. That's what you got to do.
Who are we talking about?
Castaño.
Oh, okay, Castaño. Yeah. Sorry, I had to.
Yeah, and he's pretty nimble with his legs. He's pretty fleet-footed.
But he didn't really have to do that too much in this fight because he was jabbing with Lara and he was getting him. Like this is how fucking terrible this guy Lara is. How he doesn't control the distance. He's got 7 inches of reach on this guy, and this dude is jabbing with you. He's landing straight right hands on you. Like it's just retarded, man.
That's what I was gonna say. Straight right hands, even a few times. Kind of telegraphed. It weren't even like they were sneaky straight rights and he was catching them.
I loved how he was setting Lara up for the left hook with those right hands. He did catch him with the left hook. Apparently his corner were asking for more left hooks, but I thought he did a pretty good job of landing that. Especially, listen, anybody, a couple of us have boxed here and we know the conditioning that this fucking guy showed in that last round. The punches he threw. I mean, this Castaño, say what you want about him, whether he can't beat Hurd or Munguia, whatever. That just the fact that he's better conditioned than most of these guys, I think that's gonna give him problems, because that was really.
I'll tell you
impressive.
one thing: he was beating Lara up in that 12th round, man.
Yeah, he was.
He was giving him a nice little beating,
Yeah, he was.
PDA, speaking of condition,
but he was getting hurt though. That's what I saw.
Yeah, I enjoy seeing that.
Speaking of conditioning, I was told that Hurd, the people around Hurd, was saying that he might probably only have one, maybe. Lucky if he has 2 more at 154, because it's just getting harder and harder. You know what I mean, to make it. I mean, he's a monster of a man. It's shocking that he gets down there.
Yeah, well, that's like that fucking Robert Easter Jr. That dude should be fighting at welterweight, for God's sakes. He's 6 foot tall.
Yeah, but at least he's thin.
Yeah, I have to agree with Precise when it comes to Lara's defense. I think it's probably the most overrated defensive fighter in boxing. I'm seriously. This guy's defense is not great. They talk about how slick, what a slick Cuban is. GGG won't touch him all night. But this guy, I think the only reason they say that because Canelo was struggling to tag him, but Canelo was he had no idea of cutting off the ring. His footwork was too slow at the time. He's improved massively since then, but these other guys, I mean, Angulo was getting to him, and Marta Erosion was getting to him. These guys are getting to him. You know, these are not world elite fighters, yet they're getting to Lara quite, like I said last night, they get to it. So this guy's defense, well overrated.
Yeah.
Being on the back foot and staying out of range, that's defense. I mean, come on, I can do that shit, you know. Stay out of range the whole fucking time.
Yeah,
And still getting,
The thing is, he's
That's
not.
why I
Really
have a hard time giving him rounds. That's why I had a hard. Sorry, Stu. I had a hard time giving him rounds in some of in that Castaño fight because he was backing up. He was getting some hits in, but he was getting hit. So he's like, to me, he's losing that little exchange, that series of exchange. I found that he lost a lot of that in the rounds. He's backing up, hitting Castaño, but Castaño hits him. He backs up into the ropes. It's like, you're losing to me. Like you're losing the fight.
Yeah.
Castaño was landing the cleaner, harder shots. I mean, like, if you land in the bigger shots, then you backing the guy up. But he wasn't. So obviously, maybe they didn't look as powerful because Lara, you know, maybe he swings wide and he's a puncher, so he really commits to his shots. But if you're hitting gloves, then your shots ain't shit.
Yeah, Lara would land a good straight left or something once in a while, but he was fucking getting bombarded on the ropes over there. I mean, he was getting hit he was hitting him fucking 5-6 good left hook to the body. Then he'd go upstairs and back downstairs. I thought he edged it out, man, to be honest with you, but
well, it is
I'm
what it
okay
is.
with the draw, whatever.
Yeah, it was close. It was close.
He outworked him, in my opinion. If I thought he outworked him.
Yeah, I agree.
And once again, Showtime. I'm sorry, Precise. Once again, Showtime. Showtime is telling you one story, but their official punch stats show a total different story.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
What's wrong with Showtime? This is the second time they've done this with Lara. They had Lara beating Hurd, right? I forgot. It was some ridiculous scorecard. It was like 7 rounds to 5. We're like, get the fuck out of here. But the punch stats show totally different. Lara's face showed a total different story, you know, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole thing was set up for Lara to get another like minor title and, you know, maybe cash out against somebody else. But
to make the rematch with Hurd.
So fuck that. So I'd rather see Kvosdik fucking Stevenson too.
No, but make Spence
and that Showtime panel's influenced by Malignaggi too. You know what I mean?
Stevenson too.
But Jimmy, what'd you say about Malignaggi?
Spence and Lara, bro.
I was saying that Showtime, that panel is influenced because your color guy is, you always go to for your fighter, whatnot. And it's Paulie Malignaggi. I mean, you know what I mean? Floats like a butterfly, stings like one too, the whole fucking 9 yards. You know what I mean? The kid fucking got pillow fists. So he likes the fighters. He always goes with that style because because he wasn't a power puncher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about Malignaggi is listen, I like him as a commentator, but his flaw is that he always goes for the light hitting mover. He's like, it's sort of like light punches for him are what black slick fighters are for Max Kellerman. It's like he loves them and he'll always be biased towards them, and that's just the reality. If you can look past that and look away from the flaw, he's not that bad.
That's why I like Timothy Bradley. Timothy Bradley wasn't a power puncher, but he was a fighter. So like, in his mind, when he sees, when he sees power being displayed, the most damage, he's gonna call it like it is. Like he sees it.
Yeah.
Remember that time? I was gonna say, remember that time Malignaggi called out the fucking reporters after one of his fights? He said, "There's not a reporter in this room will take one of my shots." After the post, right? Yeah, that was awesome.
Talking about Kellerman, though, he's one of them white guys you see on the front row on a civil rights march. He's just one of them.
That is sitting.
Water boy.
I can't listen to the guy anymore, man. I just think he's just a cringy, corny little voice, and he's just such a suck ass, isn't he?
He tweeted out the hands up, don't shoot. I believe. I think he was one of the guys on ESPN who did that, which was fucking ridiculous because it was a false narrative. The fucking kid didn't have his hands up. He was reaching for the cop's gun, but it didn't matter. Fucking Kellerman. Oh, yeah. Well, Kellerman was a rapper. You know what I mean? He was the fucking original Eminem.
He was a herd.
Yeah, he was barely a rapper.
Could wrap a Christmas present.
The problem with boxing and like sucking off these boxers that are really runners is it's a fucking fight. How the hell are you gonna tell me that the guy that puts you on the ropes 3 to 4 times in a round and you can't back him up? How are you gonna tell me that guy's losing the fight?
Well, you know
I just don't understand.
Let me give you my point.
Who was the slicker fighter though?
Well, that's the thing. Look, listen. If you're like a James Stoney guy who can counter off the ropes and actually working, I'll take that into consideration. But what Lara was doing last night was backing into the ropes, covering up, and letting Castaño tee off on him. Now, was he being hurt, substantially, whatever? I don't know. But he was letting the other guy hit him, shelling up. That to me is not slickness.
Who would you rather be in the ring? Who would you rather be in the ring?
Of course, Castaño. Everybody would rather be that guy. Just fucking nut huggers will say Lara. But I agree with you, BDA. Like, yeah, if you're fighting off the ropes and you're hitting your guy clean, you're gonna back him up, right? But Lara wasn't doing that. Yeah. He couldn't back him off. Exactly. He was headbutting. He was grabbing a hold of him and headbutting him, motherfucker.
Well, Kellerman, according to Kellerman, Lara won the story of the fight. So,
Kellerman.
Oh yeah,
hold on. Johnny Boy wanted to say something.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, he won the story of the fight, just like Mikey's daring to be great.
Exactly. There you go. Fair comparison right there. Daring to be great. I don't want to talk about that fight. Listen. All right. So Gonzalo, you want to say something?
Yeah, Lara does well with this boxing quote unquote ability, or you call it slickness. But once he starts getting into deep waters in the later rounds, now at his age, you can tell that he really starts to get hurt.
That's a good
point. You
point.
can tell in his face.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Lara is about as slick as fucking Arthur Abraham, man. I've said it a million times.
That's true. That's true.
He puts those earmuffs on, and at least Abraham would tuck up and protect his body. Lara just protects his fucking chin, and gives you just free shots to the body. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing about Arthur Abraham. Very hard to hit clean on the chin. He leaves his body wide open. You can punch it around the side of the guard. That's why a lot of people get to him through the side of the guard. But to hit him clean, straight down the pipe, very hard. Because like Besides said, he covers up and he's got a really strong guard, and that's why I don't think he's ever been knocked out, has he? I mean, I'm not sure. I think he's been stopped once. I think it was just, an eye injury against Robert Stieglitz, I believe. But real tough guy, and he had a solid guard.
Stu knows all about this.
They throw slick around too much. We used to call Pernell Whitaker was slick, but they just throw it around too much. But if you look at all the Cuban fighters, Ortiz, Rigondeaux, fucking Lara, you can tell they were all trained by the same system and the same head coach. It's all a variation of the same thing. The fucking front foot out long. It's you know what I mean. Not much of a mid-range game.
Yeah, and
Sweet Pea got robbed by De La Hoya, though. That's right.
I don't want to go back to that. Well, hold on. Just
do you think? Do you think the Cuban school has been worked out? That's what I want to ask you guys.
I think it's flunking out, if that's what you mean.
Yeah. And I mentioned that it has to do a little bit with Fidel Castro dying. It's true.
Oh, come on,
because
man.
No, the ripples from that are gonna take like a fucking decade or two. These guys were never great professionals. That's just the long and short of it. And that one group that escaped on that one boat, I mean, they all fight the same. So you've seen one of them, you've seen them all. And like Stu said, you expose something about their game, or you're able to take their punch, and it's all over for them, man, because they're one-dimensional. They can't. That's a big reason why they're boring, because it's just 1-2, and they don't even have a fucking jab. Like, don't get me wrong, the measuring stick, it's all there. Like, they're really good at measuring the distance with the little pawing jab, but they never throw a good fucking hard jab that's gonna stop you in your tracks. They just want to catch you on the way in with the left hand counter, and once you figure that out, once you step around that left hand, what are they gonna do? Fucking quit in the corner saying they have a boo-boo,
That's a good way.
I think you have to move with the times. It's like a football manager. It's like Jose Mourinho. his tactics have been found out. He was successful at one time; it was working, and it's like the Cuban school. At the one time, it was working, and it was
defense.
But the times move on. They're doing the same things they were doing in the 80s, the 70s, and so on. So you've got to move on with the times. I just think, I think they've been found out. It's like Precise said again. It's a style where you can watch one Cuban and prepare for any Cuban if you get.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's the best way to put it. How Precise just said it. You've seen one of them. You've seen them all. Yeah.
Well, you know what Dick Eklund, he described it as this when I was talking about the Cubans last summer, and he said to him they're living off the legacy of the fucking 70s. It's like he said, it's like when the second, third generation of mobsters, they're fucking all been raised rich if their parents didn't get popped. And they're just soft. They're not the same. You know what I mean? They pretend to be mobsters. And he was saying the fucking Cubans are living off their legacy.
Growing up,
because in the 70s, Tafio, Stevenson, and those guys, they were sick. They were really
those
good
guys
back
had
in the
jabs,
day.
though. Those guys had pretty good jabs. You know what I mean?
And plus, there was see, I lived through it back then, so it was weird. It was also because there was the communist thing. If you didn't live through it, you didn't understand. It was so prevalent in society and everything. I mean, talk Cuba. So it was that whole myth, and they had that same face. They never looked happy, but they always did so good in the Olympics. And it was that the boogeyman was always rumors that Stevenson was, what's his name? Castro would throw it out there. He said, okay, I'll let him fight. It's going to be in Zaire. He would let the fight get all planned out, and then he would pull it. He did that like 2 or 3 times. But it just, they did have a wicked. They ripped through the Olympics. They were destroying everybody. I think like 68 through 80. But that's what. So these guys are living. My point was they're living off that legacy because I don't see nothing like I seen in those guys in this group.
It's also
Sugar
part
Ray,
and parcel.
Sugar Ray Leonard take one of them out.
Yes.
It's also part and parcel of his. It's also part and
Leonard
parcel.
was a great amateur fighter.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'll tell you what. The guy that beat Amir Khan,
Khan,
the guy that beat Amir Khan in the Olympics final. I mean, he was quite tasty. I think he could have done quite well in the pros because he mixed it up a bit. I can't remember his name. Help me out, guys. Khan went to fight him in the pros afterwards, didn't he? He had one pro fight, I think, against Amir Khan. Can't beat him.
Well, yeah. What was his name?
I know the boxing snobs in the chat will know, but it's been a long time. It was a long time ago. I forgot, but he was a very good Cuban. I think he could have done well in the pro.
Well, I was going to say.
How old was he? 46.
I think when Khan fought, Khan was 70. He was going on in late 30s, I think. So. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, damn.
I was going to say that part of the reason why I was just going to say part of the reason. Can people hear me, by the way? Or I was going to say part of the reason why the fucking Cubans can't make it too, and it's a big factor. They're good in the amateurs. Remember, it's 3 rounds. You put them in there 12 rounds where the other guy can adapt to their style, and and they can't. Like Gamboa was a perfect, super talented from a physical standpoint, but afterwards, even the fights he dominated, he sort of like put the foot off the pedal because he couldn't take it up a notch and he couldn't fight on the inside either. And you saw what happened against Terence Crawford when he started coming forward. His defense went to shit. He wasn't used to walking a guy down and he got taken out. So that's also the transition from amateur to professional.
Even the transition for Lomachenko was, I mean, the reason he lost to Salido is because he went in there with an amateur style that he wasn't throwing to the body. It was a lot of single shots at times. He's just a much better fighter now, but I think that cost him.
He learned so much from that.
Yeah, the transition from amateurs, it's not easy. Even a man like Lomachenko, took a while to adapt, and it cost him a loss.
Well, all you guys could probably every one of you guys played baseball, right? At some point, or all right, exactly. Well, if you get somebody right, he throws heat, right? He comes 90, 95 miles an hour, and you're in high school, right? That's zinging. But the thing, if you noticed, if that's all he has, right? The first time up, poof, you might foul something off, but by the 6th, 7th inning, 3rd time up, and if this kid, all he throws is the same shit, the same speed, you just time it. You're sitting there, you're watching the game, you get the feel of the game, and you can see that. Like, he doesn't change he looks at your chest, which is a Cuban thing. They never look at your eyes. They're always at your feet of your chest, and he has that almost depressed look in his face, right? And he's got his head down, and it just doesn't show any fucking light with his face. He doesn't help with. I think he looks He looks like he's losing, but you can time it. It just after a while you get used to that same speed. Even if he's hitting hard, if it's constantly the same hardness, it's I don't know if you guys understand. It's like you get used to it in a weird kind of way.
You do get used to it, Jimmy, because like you said, the analogy you made with a guy coming in there, he's fucking pitching over 90 miles per hour. Okay, it's intimidating when you first see it. You know, sometimes you can get used to it right at bat, right? You're like, okay, I got it now. I'm going to time it. I know what he's going to do, and I'm just going to let the bat do the rest of the job. You know, I'm just going to make sure that I hit
exactly
the cover of that fucking ball, and it's just going to do, and the rest is going to do. You know, the speed of that pitch is going to do the rest for me. Same thing for like boxing. A guy comes in there, he's showing you the same step, the same 1-2, 1-2. After a while, you got him timed. And all you got to do is just start putting punches together. Once you start putting punches together and the guy just keeps doing the same fucking thing, what happens?
Exactly.
Well, look at Lomachenko, right? Every round. Go back his fights, right? Fast forward to each round, the beginning. You'll notice in the first 20 seconds, he's done something different than he was doing in the round before. He never comes out in circles to the same spot. He never fucking, like, you just, like, you can start almost doing a tune. I would, if I sparred you for a while, I would always make up whatever tune would come to my head. Like, I love music, so, you know, and I would always kind of like get into a tune with you, like you could just tell, you know, how they moved. And Lomachenko, that's what gets you so mentally tired because he's always changing shit. His angles, his fucking, his footwork. It's just, I'm impressed by that kid, man.
I was just gonna say that when he beat the hell out of Jason Sosa, I was like, holy shit, this fucking guy is all over the place, bro. And he was just getting pounded. I'm like,
that's why they quit. He's like, people think, they're pussies, they're hurting. It's like, they're not getting hurt. You get so mentally beat down because they're so exhausted because you're trying to get into that rhythm that, like I was just telling you, and this kid's just, he's a buzzsaw and he's coming to, you just get like, fuck this. Yeah. After a while, you start looking that way, you know?
You know what? What I like about Lomachenko is,
sides of the coin to that.
What I like about Lomachenko, like versus Sosa and then take that fight and then use Lomachenko versus Rigondeaux. And I get it. Rigondeaux was sort of small and a hype job all along, and I get it, and I get that point. But the methods that he uses is like, it's simple, but it's like, fuck, it works like hell. Like with Sosa, it was just Sosa was open for every great shit that Lomachenko does, right? So he's just like pop, 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 pop. And we know Sosa's tough, but put him in there against a fighter like that, and he's dead meat pretty much. But against Rigondeaux, he just changed it up. He didn't use his muscles on him, although he kind of did with the what I'm about to say here is the stiff arm. He couldn't handle his little stiff. He was punching instead of punching from his arm, right, from his biceps, he was punching from his wrist. And people are like, well, he wasn't hitting him with anything. This is why I think the fight was fixed. I'm like, no, bro. He was snapping his head back with little stiff arms. Bing, bing, bing. And that's why he quit, because he said, now he's starting to hit me. You know, now he's starting to hit me. I don't think I'm going to last going into the second half of the fight. I don't want to get knocked out. This is my thinking from watching that fight. That I'm looking at him saying, he doesn't want to take the risk that he might get knocked out in a bad fashion, because those were little stiff punches coming from his forearm and wrist, not from the arm, not from the bicep. And if he's catching them with that, and he starts catching them from the bicep all the way down, he's going to knock them out. That's what's going to happen.
When I really got
the greatest defensive fighter, like, he couldn't see the fucking shots coming. You know what I mean? That's because it's just so fucking amazing.
I fucking when he fought Gary Russell, I was like, there's no way this kid, and I had seen quite a bit of Gary Russell too. I was like, there's no way this kid's going to go in there with two professional fights and beat fucking Gary Russell. And he did a fucking number on him. I was like, Jesus Christ, bro.
Go back and look at the pre-fight predictions from Floyd Mayweather's gym.
Oh, fuck.
It's hilarious, man. Oh, my God.
Didn't they pick a few? They picked a few guys against him.
Oh, up until Walters. Up until Walters. Or to the fight after Walters. But Russell, I just watched that recently. Somebody said, check this out, and they forwarded it to me. It's unbelievable, man. They were like laughing. He gonna fucking destroy that boy. Oh my God. They were having a good old time, slapping hands and high fiving. And then they came back with the camera, and the guy like pushing the camera. "Ah, man, get out of here." I didn't want to talk about that.
Oh, Jimmy, and then they did the other one. It was like, oh, who would win in a fight between Pacquiao and Aaron Pryor? And they're like, man, Aaron Pryor would beat, like, bro, of course you're all going to say fucking Pryor.
Pacquiao would have beat the fucking coke out of that boy. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he would have knocked the fuck. He would have knocked the.
He would have. And Aaron Pryor was a great fighter. I'm not telling you he's not. Yeah. He was a exceptional fighter, especially for that time.
But
Manny Pacquiao would have darted this boy out. He would have.
Well, and he was and recognized he was a flash in the pan. He fought Arguello twice and then fucking went and smoked crack for 20 years, bro.
No, I mean, listen, they're judging. You're supposed to judge him.
He had things to do.
I think Aaron Pryor was a very good fighter. And
he was.
I think I'd have Manny Pacquiao winning that fight, but that would not be a walk in the park.
No. It'd be a good
fight.
It
won't be a walk in. He's gonna fight back, but that's what Pacquiao loves, bro.
The rumor is that Sugar Ray Leonard ducked him.
By the way,
that's not a rumor. That's not a rumor.
That is true. That is true. He ducked Aaron Pryor for years.
Sugar Ray would have beat his ass.
Here we go with the
ducking. Sugar Ray would have fucked him up. But
he would have done. But he still ducked him. It doesn't mean he didn't duck him, does it?
No. That was on the Legendary Nights episode of Pryor Arguello. That's where that came out from.
Well, listen, Aaron Pryor did beat Tommy Hearns, a very fucking skinny, lightweight, which is 139 in the amateurs, right?
But
he beat him, so I give him that. That means I think he beat him twice too.
You know what? Speaking of the amateurs, I want to talk a little bit about everybody's favorite heavyweight, Luis Ortiz, ended up winning a decision.
Arias. That's his real last name.
Yeah. What's his real
name? I got a question about that. Where's Right Hero at,
Well,
let's send him a link.
well, let's get into that.
I don't remember. What the hell did he say, though?
I'm an amateur boxer. Luis Ortiz, he would beat up, what's his face? Joe Joyce. I pick him over Povetkin. I mean, he kill everybody. He's top 3 heavyweight.
AJ, everybody.
Yeah, come on, man.
Well, let's get into
that. Where's our amateur boxer at?
Let's get
into
that.
He tweeted out that New York City has more talent than Southern California right now.
I get that.
Way more talent. That's what he tweeted out. Yeah, I just saw that.
What, in the amateur ranks?
In boxing, he tweeted out. Well, Steve Kim tweeted out that.
I would love to say it's true. Yeah, I'll be like, yeah.
I'll send him a link on Twitter.
Yeah,
New York boxing is shit right now. So I'm being honest.
Well, he wasn't like Steve. I guess what he did is he just tweeted out about how it's become the mecca. Like everybody comes there, even if they're not from there, they come there to spar because of the sparring. I'm just saying. So, and then he jumped it off. No, he tweeted under it, and that's when he said, "There's way more talent in New York, way more talented boxers in New York." I just wanted to let you know exactly what he said. So yeah, exactly. Both.
What's his
pros and
account?
Images.
No, Southern California has more talent than New York right now.
What's his Twitter account?
Do a search for I'm an amateur boxer. Do a search. He'll be the first one to come up.
All right, Right Hero, you need to come on. If you can't today, well, in the next, as soon as the next episode is on, because apparently these guys have something to talk to you about. As far as Ortiz, he ended up winning a unanimous decision against a very durable Christian Hammer. I love the name, by the way, Christian. The Christian Hammer. That was my nickname when
That's
I used
what
to
my
be in
wife calls
Palestine.
me, the Hammer.
Was that?
That's what my wife calls me, the Hammer.
Oh, the Hammer. Was that before or after the tape incident?
Well, that was a
sorry.
woman.
That
was a different woman.
That was a fucking superbly tuned athlete, huh?
She'll call me a piece of shit.
She really calls you the mallet.
The man. But so what I'm saying here is that Ortiz won a decision, and let me tell you something. I think reversely in the chat, I mean not in the chat, but in the Hangouts, he left a comment, and I think it surmises the fight. He said Ortiz against Hammer. It looked like your fat father and your fat uncle fighting for the last beer. That's what he said. I think it encapsulates what that fight. Listen, Ortiz, Good fighter. Don't get me wrong. I love that
He's
counter
a hell
left
of an
hand.
athlete for 45, bro. Like
He's not. Yeah, exactly.
I'm a man.
59.
Listen, I'm a man in my mid 40s. I admire him, but it's not.
He's not no boogeyman unless you're
Right,
talking about
he's
the
no
dancing
boogeyman.
he
Yeah,
does in
that's
the
all.
ring, man.
Let me say.
Yeah,
Let me. Oh,
yeah,
go ahead. Again.
he was telling Ortiz was telling Hammer, you can't touch this.
Oh, come on. Come
Hey.
on, Gonzalo.
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 Hello, please.
He was touching it plenty.
Should we kick him
Let me
out?
tell
You said he was dancing, that's why.
Luis
He was dancing.
in a
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you can't touch this. Anyways, go ahead.
Ortiz fought me last night and had a hard time. In a
That fucking
nutshell.
guy was an embarrassment. That dude
Yeah.
Hammer was an
Is
embarrassment.
it me? Is it me? This is the first time. This is the
That
first
was
time
a
I
fucking
paid.
embarrassment.
This is the first time I paid attention to Ortiz's legs. He got some skinny ass legs.
Yeah, he does. I seen
Holy
it.
shit! I'm
I
like,
noticed
wow.
that too.
Hammer
I've
was
never
hurting
been-
him. He
Yeah,
never
Hammer caught him
picked
with a
up on
few
it.
of those.
Yeah, he hurt him.
Louis, he fought me last night. The only thing he was missing was the fucking Marlboro hanging out of his mouth, bro. I'm telling you.
Where's this power as well? I keep hearing about. I actually picked it. I said he'd go the distance. I don't see this power. I mean, Kaufman, he hung around, didn't he? I mean, where did he go? He was.
You know where the
hanging around.
power comes from? I'll tell you where the power comes from. If he's fighting a bum that oversteps his boundary and his fucking chin gets past his front knee, he lunges into that left hand. Yeah, he'll knock him out. He'll hurt him. He'll do whatever. But if you just keep your hands up and you sit back a little bit, there is no power. He's got to walk you into that left hand.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
Did you say?
He's
Besides,
got
did you say
decent
Dave
power.
Allen? Besides,
got
did you say
build.
Dave Allen went 10 with him?
Yeah.
No, I think he did. Yeah.
No. Wait.
His
They
power,
stopped the fight in the corner, I think.
his power went when his wife went through menopause. He's like 60.
He fights so many bums that I don't know which one was one.
Yeah.
Who. But
I mean, Dave Allen runs out. He
Ortiz-
runs out of steam after 4 rounds. So the fact that Ortiz took 10 to get him out there tells you the story, really. I mean,
Well, just look at how much he's fallen. Look at how much he's fallen just since he. Remember when he first came on the scene 4 or 5 years ago? Just the difference. Go look at the video then. How harder he hit back then, because he was probably literally 40 then. Like I said, I was told he was 40. What was it? 48. I was told he was like 48 years old.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna give him he's listed in BoxRec as 39 or 40.
40 today.
I'm gonna put 5 years on that at least. I'm gonna put 5 years on that. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Here's what I'll say. In Ortiz's best, the best performance that I can come up with is against what's his name, Brian Jennings. I don't remember everything, but this is what I remember saying. This is what I came away with. This is a guy who has decent power and good counter punching ability. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the best thing I can say about Ortiz. Other than that, it's really nothing else. And now he's getting older, right? He's getting older, and really he's slower now. He's actually slower.
Look, man, if you're you're 45, let's say, you had so many amateur fights, you had so many professional fights, and if you're a southpaw fighting a right-handed guy and your fucking trainer is reminding you to step off the line when you throw your left hand, then you just don't have a boxing brain, man. I'm sorry.
well, precise. He's 45, bro. His brain is not working as much. It's not as fluid.
And the worst of all, he's a fucking spitter. He's a spitter. I've only fucking spotted a spitter once. Dude, you're in shorts in there. This fucking, they spit. Not, they're always spitting down the front of your shins.
That's what old men do.
That's what old men
Wait till you turn 55, bro. You'll be like, oh, yeah, that's...
Yeah, he does fucking hawk lung butter all over.
Dude, and he spit, but it's like, and it's even... And he's spitting on the dude's chest, on his fucking chins. Dude, I'll tell you, man, I spotted a kid once, he was spitting on Mike Tilton. I'm like, dude, you fucking spit one more time, I'm going to hit you with a fucking shoe.
It's like those old dudes. It's like those old dudes with their balls hanging out of their drawers, man. They just don't give a fuck anymore.
What the?
Fucking how old was his opponent? Because he looked pretty old himself. The Christian Hammer.
Yeah.
Christian Hammer's about 30.
Christian Hammer, I said that too. He looks
Hammer's
like
a lot. Hammer was 30 when he fought Fury about 5 years ago.
Let me tell you something. Christian Hammer looks like
a bag of hammers.
Christian Hammer
Hacking
looks
up
like
head
Tony
out, he
Dogs from Casino. He looks like Tony Dogs, man. I'm telling you, I'm putting up the picture there. Call me crazy.
Tony
He's Tony
Dogs.
Dogs, the new crazy maniac in town. Listen,
Who was with you, Tony?
And like in corruption in the chat is saying that and Christian Hammer came in absolute horrible shape.
Yeah.
And that's true though. That guy was in fucking bad shape, man.
Yeah, he's a fat fuck,
Yeah.
bro. He's in there.
Fuck as well, man. It's like,
You fat
he
fuck.
and he hurt Ortiz early on. I mean, come on, man.
The real guy they stuck in the vice name was Jimmy Miraglia. Him and Spilatro and Charles Nicoletti stuff in the vice. That was a true story.
What's the deal with these opponents that they're getting for these supposedly top heavyweights? You know, the Christian Hammer, the what's this guy the Haitian guy that just fought? He was 273 pounds.
Stavern?
Stavern, yeah.
He was 270?
Yeah, he probably
273.
Oh my god.
They're hyping up this division, but they're putting these contenders against inactive, overweight guys. You know.
Listen, and I'm not saying, guys,
let's be real.
I'm not saying Joyce. I'm sorry. I was going to say something real quick. I'm not saying that Joyce is not going to be something because he looks like he has the part. Okay, like when you're fucking 6'6", 270 or whatever it is, you know, and you got that kind of shape, you look pretty good, right? I mean, he could do good in the heavyweight division, but that's why I don't give him I don't praise the Stavern win too much. Stavern's been done since 2015, bro.
Yeah.
He was never anything. Look at Stavern. I mean, he come in the ring looking like fucking Barry White. I mean, it was disgrace.
Barry White.
It was an absolute disgrace, the shape he was in. And he was in that shape against Wilder in the second fight, if you remember. Horrible shape. You know, so I agree. Joe Joyce is a problem for anyone. He really is. So, I mean, but we can't really go by too much by what Stavern did because he just. I mean, did you see it? Did you see the when they were going in his training camp and that lot when he fought Wilder? I mean, the guy had this ragu sauce he was eating. It fuck amount of calories it had in it. Do you know what I mean? He was just eating that in the bowl. So there's no diet with him. He's getting up and drinking cola, really, and things like that. You can't fight like that.
Pete said Hammer looked like Private Pile.
He looked like
Joyce. Stu, I think Joyce is a problem because his size looked like Joshua. He's a big guy, but you could tell that most likely he developed like lifting weights. But Joyce is like naturally just a big bone person.
Yeah, he's big boned. Yeah, definitely.
Hey,
and he's got height too. On top of that.
He seemed like a nice kid, man. That was you're talking about the black British kid? Joyce, right? Was he the black British?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he seemed like a nice kid. When you see them interview, it's just crazy, right? Just, I don't know. They take a different...
He looks like an octoroon to me. I don't know if he's black.
He's mulatto?
Hey, by the way, Punisher in the chat room. Punisher in the chat room says...
I think he's a quarter black, I think.
Is he a good guy, dude? You're from the UK. What do you hear about him, Stu? He seemed like a decent dude in the interview, honest.
He's not the sharpest tool in the box. Let's just say that.
Oh.
But
he's not that young either.
Well, he's not there to do speeches and write essays. He's there to fight. So, who's that? What's that noise? He's there to fight. So, and that's what he's doing it well. I just think he turned pro a bit too late. I think I'd like to have seen him after. I think Rio in 2016. I think he hung around too long after that. So, I think he should have gone before that. I think probably 2015 I would have liked to see him get 3 or 4 years in to grow as a fighter, and he would have been ready for these big guys now. I mean, he's not far off now, but I just think at 31 years old, he needs to get a move on,
He's 31, right?
He needs a lot of sparring. He needs the fucking highest and do a lot of sparring.
It's a bit like
he just beat the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, one of Deontay Wilder's best wins. I think he's getting moved along pretty well. I mean, I'm half joking, but the shape this division is in, he's in the right place, man.
Before Ortiz, Steven was the biggest win for Wilder. Remember? Oh, he beat Ortiz.
For a bunch of years. For a bunch of years, that was his best win.
Years, man.
Yeah.
What about when is he going to fight again?
That's the fight that's going to happen now. Ortiz against Joyce.
One at a time.
Stu, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Stavern went the distance with him. Let's not pretend that he went the distance with Wilder.
The first time, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's true.
Yeah, remember Ortiz would beat Povetkin too. Let's not
Oh,
forget that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Listen.
and dude, this guy was fucking hitting people on the head for Meyer Lansky in the 40s. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
All right, Gonzalo wanted to say something. Gonzalo, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the Abel Sanchez was saying that he wasn't ready for like an Ortiz, but his next fight would be. So that's the fight that's probably gonna happen. Joyce against Ortiz next.
Hey, let me ask you
I'm
guys
cool with
something.
that.
Let me ask you something. Would
Yeah.
Pulev be too much for Joyce right now?
No, he wouldn't.
Well, there you
Pulev,
go.
Pulev doesn't work enough. He's another negative fighter. Very lackluster. Pulev just never really sets the world alight, does he? It's still the same old stuff. And I think Joe Joyce is just too strong, works too much. You know, I just think he's going to pile on the pressure. I don't think Pulev is got the foot. So I know Pulev's quite good behind the jab and he keeps in shape and he's got that typical Eastern European style sort of thing. But I just think the work rate of Joyce, the strength of it.
He'll beat the shit out of Pulev. I don't know if you guys saw World Series of Boxing, but you're forgetting something. I know he's 32 or 33, but he had 14 fights against top level semi-pros at the World Series of Boxing, and he beat the shit out of what's that dude's name? The Serbian guy, Filip Hrgovic or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Eastern European trash. Yeah.
No, he's a good fighter.
I'm kidding.
He's a good prospect.
Hey, by the
People
way,
are high on him. He looks pretty good, and he beat the shit out of that guy. So that's not nothing. Man.
He's got too much output for Pulev.
Yeah, exactly.
Once things start becoming secondary nature for him, like you can tell he thinks a little because, like you said, just the amount of fights. If it was secondary, he didn't think about it. He was just doing everything off motion. He'd be dangerous. I don't think. I mean, really dangerous. But if he gets that
potential of killing somebody, bro,
just through sparring, I would just have him sparring in light sparring too. Not like I tell the dudes, don't fucking try to knock each other out. But he just needs to get everything has to be secondary. His footwork has to be without thinking. He just has to do it. If you have to think about what you're doing for a split second, the higher you get up, the quicker you can get whacked.
You know what?
Hold on. BDA wanted to say something. Go ahead, BDA.
just wanted a couple of things. Punishers in the chat room says Ortiz is a spitter, Paulie is a swallower. Now I'm not gonna have that on this podcast. Type of jokes, man. Let me tell you something.
Yeah. He's right. I am I do swallow.
All right, come on.
You
Now
know,
that dinosaur from Jurassic Park, man.
Listen.
Here's the irony.
Another thing.
I'm just
What's
gonna say real
that?
quick.
Another irony. What?
Sorry, BDA.
Well, I just want to say real quick. The thing about
sorry,
just real quick. The thing about Joyce is some people were giving me shit for taking out, having to use 6 rounds to take Stavern out. But come on, this is the heavyweight division. There's few people out there that can knock somebody out the way Wilder did against Stavern in the rematch. You beat a fatso up like Stavern in 6 rounds. That's pretty fucking good, especially with a guy that doesn't have that much experience like Joey. So let's see what he can do. Let's see if he improves, and let's see what he can do with it.
I was gonna say that. Listen, man, he did bruise up. He was bruising this dude up, Stavern. And that's not like totally impressive, but it didn't look good. Like that kind of bruising up that he was. It's like he looks like he needs to go to the hospital. Like that kid could kill somebody if he keeps hitting them, and they don't call the fight in time enough. Like he's big enough that he's got heavy fucking hands.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, that's what I had said. That I thought he was one of the heaviest punchers, but many disagreed. But that's just my point. Can I say something real quick, BDA? Now I'm speaking. Here's the irony. That I believe. Look, this goes for Dante Wilder too. As well as Joy Joyce. But look, Joy Joyce doesn't have that much experience, but he's not that young. He's like 32, 33. Wilder's older too. It comes to a point where you have to take advantage of your physical prime, because if you're not ready, it comes a point to where like you're getting older, you're gonna start losing a little bit of your physicalness.
That's right.
So either you step up, because you can't really teach a dog. This is a stereotype. You can't really teach old dog new tricks, but like Stu was saying, you could get into that rhythm and do good, a secondary reaction. But as far as like, fighting like that, you probably go back to your old ways. So I mean, you can train hard, practice, and put up a good fight, but then you just have to step in there and take these challenges because you're getting older.
There you go.
He does need to move along. I mean, with the Pulev thing, but I just there's no way someone with that work rate can beat someone like Joe Joyce. I think so for someone to beat Joe Joyce, it's going to have to be a Deontay Wilder right hand sort of thing. He's going to have to get caught coming in with a sloppy shot, and he's going to get countered with a big shot himself. That's going to stop. I don't see anyone beating him on points either, because he's just
he's just going to hit them. He's going to hit them with more punches.
What about Fury?
The problem is that with a heavy puncher like that, it's dangerous. It becomes dangerous after a while.
I agree. Recognizing, I'm calling
Vern's face looked like, oh my God, take this kid to the hosptal. Like, take him to the hospital.
Yeah.
You don't think Fury would beat him? Oh, sorry.
No, I think of course. I think those guys would beat him. But I think what guys that like Precise and everybody that are defending him, and rightfully so, is that he's got a work rate. He's got a heavy punch, bro. He's dangerous. He's got a lot
of power.
He's got a lot of output, recognize.
And output matters, man, especially in the heavyweight division. Like, look, there's people that have game plans. If you put it to work, like you're a heavyweight that could throw a lot of punches. Hey, you, calm down. I'm sorry.
What the fuck is going on?
That's my son.
Is that your wife? Sorry.
No, that's my son, man.
That's my wife.
Fucking over here. My son is like, just make it. I'm like, shut up, man. Sit down already. But
right. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. The work rate, man. The work rate as a heavyweight with a heavy puncher, a heavy-handed guy. He always has a great shot of winning fights. If he loses, it's just going to be the inexperience. But you know what? He's 31. You guys said 32.
33, I think.
30. Okay, so 33. He's not wasting time. He's not here to build.
That ain't me.
Is that noise?
Butch, is that you?
What? No.
All right. I hear like plastic, rain on plastic or something.
Let me finish. I'm just taking a piss.
Yeah, that ain't me, BDA.
I don't know if that's a joke, recognized, because you were taking a shit in that one episode, so I don't know if you...
No, that wasn't true. I wasn't.
Listen to that sound.
Stop playing with the bubble wrap.
That's a rumor.
All right, now it's gone. All right, so continue, recognize. And if you have to...
Just that the kid, he's not here trying to build a fucking extensive career. He's 32, 33. He wants to fight these guys now. That's why they're talking about him fighting Ortiz. He's probably like, look, I could take Ortiz now. Maybe he's wrong, but he's willing to find out.
He'll retire Ortiz.
I think he would too. I think from what I saw from Ortiz last night, and I'm seeing him against Joe Joyce. Yeah, right. Joyce beats him, man. He probably hurts him bad.
And by the way, recognize, was it me or did Ortiz's face? I mean, I know he just went 10 rounds and everything, but did his face look particularly haggard? More than usual.
He's got high blood pressure. Think about it like this. Let's say if he's having a good day, right? When it comes to like high blood pressure, he's not having like an outbreak or whatever. He just went 10 rounds.
Yeah, he did look old though. He looked like fucking Lawrence Fishburne.
His nose was gushing too.
Yeah.
Busted up his nose, man.
That can't be good for a guy with high blood pressure, right? I mean, I don't know nothing. I don't have it. So bleeding through your nose, shouldn't that be a bad thing when you got high blood pressure?
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of blood will come out.
What did he say?
He's a prop, bro. He's Ortiz is a prop for Wilder fanboys. That's it.
Exactly. Yes.
What did he say in Matrix, bro? Stop trying to hit me and hit me already.
You think that's
as
oxygen?
Far as Joe Joyce goes, like we gotta put this shit into perspective, guys. Because look, Luis Ortiz, who we never thought was any good or not that good, and just struggled with the bum, he almost beat Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder lost to a fat Fury. AJ went life and death with an old shot fucking Klitschko, and he was getting outboxed by a 6'2" fat cruiserweight.
Hold on.
I mean, like you got to put this shit into perspective. Like
shot Klitschko, shot. I don't know about that. They're precise.
Brian Jennings gave that Klitschko trouble. I mean, he couldn't even touch Tyson Fury.
But you know why? Because the referee told Klitschko he couldn't clinch anymore, and then his plan went to shit.
Took away his weapon.
I mean,
take that consideration.
Klitschko, even a shot Klitschko probably beats most of these guys today, right? He could probably come back right now and still be top 5 heavyweight. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you're the up and coming guy, you're the champion, like AJ was at the time. You're not supposed to be struggling with the Klitschko. You're supposed to be knocking him out in 6-8. Like, look at what happened to all the great champions, heavyweight champions. When they were done, they got knocked the fuck out, and that's it. You know, there was no like going life and death with an old champion. So this division is weak as fuck.
Klitschko proved he still had a bit left in him. I mean, I know.
No, that's because AJ ain't shit. That's because AJ is not that good.
Come on, man. I think you've been a bit harsh here. I think Klitschko, it was a very, very good
AJ,
fight. Like
bro, AJ was getting outboxed by a 6'2" fat cruiserweight without his PEDs. He was getting outboxed by, bro. He was getting outboxed by a guy that's 6'2". Like, stop for a second and think about what that means, bro. He's not that good.
I don't know who you're talking about. Who?
Povetkin was outboxing the shit out of AJ.
I wouldn't say he was outboxing him.
He was winning that fight easily, handily. He was embarrassing the shit out of him. I give AJ credit, like he adjusted and he knocked him out. But dude, that's like, I mean, the size difference between those two is just, come on, man. You're not supposed to be getting outboxed by a little dude. It's because you're not that good. This heavyweight division is weak as shit. So Joyce, when we look at him, the point I'm trying to make is when we look at him, okay, he's not that great, right? But the division's not that great, period. So I think he's a great addition, and I would say he's a fucking top 5 heavyweight right now, man. And that's all I'm saying, man. AJ ain't shit. Deontay Wilder ain't shit. Fury is fat. Like, these guys, this division is weak.
Is it trash?
I just think this guy, like I was saying, you know, like AJ, there's pictures out there that he wasn't really that muscular before. I mean, we all develop, you know, as we get older, but a lot of that is probably made up muscle. This what's it? Joyce is like the abominable snowman. He's just a big guy, you know, heavy-handed.
Yeah, he's just look, man.
He's just big.
Snowman. He's snowman.
He's not like a guy that put on muscle to look bulky and just got.
That's a good point. That's a good
point.
He's just a big-boned motherfucker.
He's got a big frame.
For some reason, he looks like Ness from the Boxing Voice. I don't know why.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
by the way, I wanted to get back to.
Let me ask you something.
But I wanted to get back to Precise's point about the heavyweight division being trash. Well, I mean, I don't know if he said trash, but he said it's
overrated. It's overrated.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's trash, but it's overrated.
I'll put it to you this way: Joseph Parker, who at one time was like a top 5 heavyweight, he just stood away from Joshua. Didn't give him any openings, and Joshua looked like he didn't look good. Let's face it. So the fact that Joseph Parker was able to do that, it does tend to tell you that maybe Joshua isn't all that great himself. But I guess
he doesn't know how to cut off the ring.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. Are you done, BDA? I'm sorry.
I'm done. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say.
For now.
I think. See, the way that makes me think is when Usyk makes his move up there, it's gonna be a fucking problem, bro.
That's why I said in a couple of shows ago that I said, do not be surprised if Usyk.
All right, Jimmy, you gotta mute your mic, please. Jimmy, you're eating snacks and he's got the munchies.
I didn't mean to unmute it. Sorry.
No
Usyk
worries.
is more likely going to beat these guys. The only thing that can beat Usyk is him getting hit with a heavyweight punch and he gets knocked the fuck out. That's it. Other than that, boxing wise, these guys can't box with him.
Nobody.
Can you picture Wilder? No, maybe Fury. Maybe
Usyk would fuck Wilder up, bro. I've been saying that.
Maybe Fury would outbox him.
I think Fury's the only one.
Yeah.
No, I think Fury's the only one with a style that could
right.
I think
the rest, don't get me wrong.
He's just far too good, far too quick with his feet as well.
These guys hit him. They hit him. I'm sorry, Stu. If they hit him, yes, that's what I want to see. I want to see if he could take those punches. He did fight. You know, I know it was a pro ranked fighting style. They didn't wear headgear, okay? And he was backing up Joe Joyce. He was backing him up. So what I'm saying is, look, man, the heavyweight division is a little overrated. I would not be surprised if Usyk goes in there. Hopefully, no bullshit politics. Just go in there and see who wins. Don't be surprised if he goes in there and he's, a champion and like the legit champion.
I guess people would say that, to your point, I recognize that if Spilka could cause so many problems to Wilder, imagine what a guy
Can you imagine what fucking Usyk would do, bro?
Yeah.
He's gonna turn him into an asshole.
As far as this whole thing, like if they hit him, look, if Joshua hits Wilder, Wilder's going. If Wilder hits Joshua, he's going. Yeah, if any of these guys hit each other, they're going. Usyk probably doesn't have that kind of power at heavyweight, but he's got volume, so that counts for something too. It's like we're sitting here talking about like he's just gonna shatter as soon as somebody touches him.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe he will, but how do you know?
I'll tell you what as well with his power. I mean, Tony Bellew held David Hayes' shot. David Hayes known as an explosive puncher at heavyweight, and Tony Bellew was holding them shots all night. Usyk was rocking Bellew to his fucking boots. Now, I've got a feeling you stick another 15. Yeah, you stick another 15, 20 pounds on Usyk. That could be an extra bit of power that he needs, and I think he could be taking guys out at heavyweight. I'm quite convinced he's going to get knocked out.
Hold on. Johnny Boy wanted to say.
Sorry.
Oh, Johnny Boy, and then recognize.
I was just going to say, yeah, see, I kind of agree with Precise and Stu. Let's not act like one little tap's going to fucking shatter him. And see, that's what I was saying. Fury might be the one to give him some issues because he's so much fucking taller than him,
and he boxes,
and he's a good and he's got a lot of skills. But I like Recognize said too, bro. He don't be surprised if he comes up there and fucking starts banging the drum, bro. Because I think that's what's gonna happen, to be honest.
Because honestly, listen, look boxing wise. Look if you go boxing wise, if it turns into a boxing match between him and him and AJ, AJ's gonna run out of gas, bro. AJ has to hurt him and get him out of there. Not a 12-round fight. You don't want to go 12 rounds with Usyk. You got to hurt Usyk, keep him hurt, and if you don't do that, then it turns into a boxing match and the fight's over, right? I'm gonna give Usyk that against any of these top heavyweights every single time. So they got to knock him out. Now you gotta ask yourself, if you're them, can I knock him out with one punch? Because I have to put punches. If I have to put punches together to get him out, in other words, break him down.
Right.
In a boxing fight, I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
None of these guys in the heavyweight division, Fury included, have the footwork to line up Usyk for the straight right hand. They just don't have the footwork. All he got to do is step away from the right hand. What are these guys going to do? Usyk has to make a mistake in order to get hit cleanly by a right hand from these big guys.
Yep.
Like they're not going to be able to line them up because their feet too slow.
That's a good point.
I think this Usyk guy, he's got a really good mentality because he takes the tough fights and he goes to people's backyards and fights. And nowadays in this era of cherry picking, when people want things their way, their mentality is not up to par. And when you think like that and you're a cruiserweight and you want to grind it, you're on the you work hard, you got that mentality. He's gonna add on those 15 extra 20 pounds that he needs, and he's doing it right now to prepare himself the way he needs to, because he's got that mentality for the heavyweight division.
Very good point. He definitely did. He win a gold medal too, by the way.
Yes, he did.
He's a gold.
Can I tell you what I think of Usyk? Honestly, no bullshit. Some people say I'm fucking crazy. Like Eastern European guy. I don't think there's nobody in the heavyweight division is going to beat him.
Oh,
my personal
You might
opinion.
be right. You might be right.
I don't think. I think that kid is just too. Listen, Precise stole my thunder because he said it already. I was going to say his footwork. It's night and day compared to these guys, and he's 6'3", right? We're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and he's taking shots from big punches, And I've never even seen this kid rocked, and he's got great footwork. He's slick. He's
got long arms, bro.
And he's 6'3", right? I mean,
you see those long arms? Yes. You got long arms, bro.
And so what's fucking Wilder 6'7", right? But he's lanky 6'7". But for the most part, most of your big heavyweights are running around between 6'3" and 6'5", right? I mean, would you say around average? So he's running around the same height-wise. Once he gets that fucking weight up in his shoulder girdle, because that's where obviously most of that extra weight's going to be up in his. Once he gets used to carrying that, and he feels comfortable with it, where he's got his reflexes and his speed and his timing. Oh, look out! I don't think anybody's gonna touch him.
Usyk's gonna be heavier than Wilder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
maybe.
like 220. Lucho.
He's gonna be fucking heavier, man. 220, maybe
BDA.
215, 220.
That's a good point. Yeah.
BDA.
Yeah,
I
go ahead,
can't
John.
remember,
Give us
but
all.
what's the name of the guy that used to own the Kronk gym?
Manuel Stewart.
Emmanuel Stewart, one time on the live commentary during a fight, he said at the time, this is what he said. I'm quoting him. He said that a heavyweight will lose coordination after 6'5". That's what he said.
It's
He
interesting.
said what? Say
I
that
don't
again.
know.
Say that again.
That after that a heavyweight, that a fighter over 6'5" tall will start losing coordination. That's what he said. But
Well,
that's an old wise. That's so entrenched in boxing. Think about it. Throughout history, there's always been guys over 6'5", right? There's always been freaks.
Yeah, of course.
Why was there never? I mean, Muhammad Ali, right? 5'11". I mean, Marciano, 190, 5'11". Muhammad Ali, 6'3", and he was a huge heavyweight, tall-wise. So wasn't Braun. But because of that same reason, no trainer wanted to touch the big guys. Because, like, you big goofy fuck, you know what I mean? So, some guys probably got screwed out of it, but for the most part, that was the mindset, and that's where Stewart, the guy you were talking about, he grew up in that. Right. So that was his mind.
If you guys watch the Gvozdyk Stevenson fight again, and just look at the footwork, when Gvozdyk is constantly moving away from the left hand, obviously it's going to be reversed, but it's the same dynamic because Usyk is the southpaw against all these right-handers. Right. When Gvozdyk is moving away from Stevenson's left hand, yes, Stevenson was touching him with the left hand, but he couldn't really hit him flush because the punch was just skimming, right? What Stevenson had to do when he almost knocked him down, or when he sent him through ropes, he had to take a step back and into his own right, I believe, right, in order to line him up for that shot. Which heavyweight is going to be able to do that to Usyk, man? He's going to have to fucking make a huge mistake to get caught with the right hand from one of these guys.
Well, you know what? Apparently, Usyk, it's been talked about. He's going to be fighting Takam next. That's what it looks like, and that's a good little test. That's a good little test to see what he can do, and if he can stop Takam and do it in explosive fashion, this fucking hangout is going to explode. Because, I mean, look at what people are saying now, that it's possible that nobody at heavyweight can touch him.
Yeah, but Takam is 6 feet or 6'1".
Yeah, but I mean, he's a solid heavyweight, I know.
Dude, it's these little guys he's not going to look that good against. Watch. It's the little guys, they're going to be able to handle Usyk better than these big dudes. They're gonna lose, but...
Listen, when I used to spar smaller guys than me, they gave me a fucking. It was their speed, their body movement, that gave me problems. Right? When I fought guys that were heavier than me, right? I said this. I was thinking about turning pro and fighting at cruiserweight, which was 190 back then. They were like, "Dude, you can't fight it. You're crazy. You're gonna be fighting dudes 200 pounds plus." The reason why I wanted to fight at 190 because at that time I only would weigh like 195 at most. Like, nah, 190 is perfect for me. Yeah. Because I was so comfortable being, I wasn't comfortable fighting guys where they were the lighter guys. They were lighter. Let me ask you. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, sorry, were you finished or?
No, that was basically my point. Is that I always had a problem with guys that were that were lighter than me. Now, if you're lighter than me, but you can't fight for shit. I mean, that doesn't matter. But if you're a boxer, you got decent fundamentals. Yeah, that was gonna give me a bit of an issue. The speed part, the timing, the smaller guys. So
right. I was gonna ask you. When you sparred bigger guys, heavyweights, whatever, were you able to get the respect with those 16-ounce gloves, or?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, depends on like what gloves we would use. Sometimes we would use smaller gloves than that. Like we'll have what we call like a live fight. Like, in other words, you're not. It's like a gym secret. Like, all right, you guys want a real fight? Yeah, go in there, put in
Yeah.
12-ounce, 10-ounce gloves, and we
I
would
used to
go in
spar
there.
with 14s.
Yeah, and we would. We used to do it with 10-ounce gloves.
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
let's go. Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
and we'll see. And some people got hurt bad, and some people.
Well, we got the
they
proof.
happen.
We got the proof right here with you, recognize. But I
Oh yeah,
wanted to
my brain is a little scrambled.
no, but you know what? I always go back to Roy Jones against John Ruiz. Supremely talented Roy Jones. Yeah, of course, he wasn't natural when he went up to, or even before going up to heavyweight. But the fact that a lot of people were saying, Ruiz was substantially bigger. I mean, you could just tell. Yeah, Roy Jones packed on a lot of muscle, but Ruiz had that 6'2" frame. Just look at their backs, and it's a whole different story.
Much bigger.
But Jones, thanks to his hand speed and precision punching, after the fourth round, Ruiz didn't want nothing to do with it. So it's an interesting thing about it's really speed and timing. And if you can put 200 plus pounds behind that speed and timing, you got a dangerous guy at heavyweight.
Roy Jones hurt Ruiz in that, I think, fourth round.
Yeah, I think it was
the
the
right hand, and Ruiz kind of stumbled a bit.
Yeah, he stumbled. I mean, listen, you see that kind of speed difference because of the size, right? I hate to me it was so far from each other that it almost looked like Roy Jones fucking was fighting the ultimate cherry pick, right? It almost looked that way in certain parts of that fight. But what Roy Jones exposed himself with, this is what I wanted to get to. What he exposed himself with is that he enjoyed being so much faster than everybody. It became stressful when he started fighting guys like Tarver, who has decent speed from the southpaw. Okay, not the kind of speed Roy has, but enough speed to touch you, bro. It's like I could touch you, bro. I could hit you. You saw the difference?
Yeah.
And you could go back to Clinton Woods, bro. Clinton Woods. I think that was his name. He fucking hit Roy Jones. Roy was uncomfortable. So he started going to the body. Smart of him. He started going to the body. But you can see the stress level. Some guys enjoy the speed advantage. Right. Now, real quick, I'll make this real quick. The difference between a guy that's a world-class fighter and could adjust is that even with those bad moments, right, where a guy is lighter than you, he's going to show more speed than you're used to, is that you can still beat those guys. You can still find a way to beat them. And a guy like me coming up, I think that was my problem. My problem was once guys, had speed that I was not used to, there were issues. Yeah, there were definitely issues because I could run out of gas. I mean, like I said, I've never been knocked out, completely knocked out. But you will go to the world level, you go to the elite domestic level. Those boys are gonna fuck you up if you start, running out of gas and you're having problem with their timing them and their speed and shit.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a very good point. I mean, I've said it before. Well, made the point with Castaño. You run out of steam against them, and Castaño has superior stamina for a professional. And it's a good point that you made. Recognize that if you run out of steam against a heavier fighter, and because
done.
You lose your snap, right? Like if you get snap on your shots, that's where they respect you. But if you start getting tired, your legs get tired, you lose your snap, and all of a sudden they're walking through your shots now, and boy, you're in trouble.
They're gonna hurt you bad.
By the way, I have
Speaking of, go ahead, man.
Well, I was just gonna. Well, you go ahead. Well, I'm looking for something.
Lou DeVal. I'm gonna tell you one thing. Right. Lou DeVal. Remember Lou DeVal?
Yeah, I do.
I sparred with him. He hit me with a body shot. I felt like I died. I didn't go down, but I started running around the ring. I was like, oh, shit. Oh man, this was bad. I never felt pain like that in all the sparring I've done.
What, the liver or what did he get you?
He hit me right to the body. Just straight to the body, bro.
Like in the plexus or?
It was okay. So he threw a straight punch, right? He was a lefty. So he throws a jab to my chest, straight to the so I was kind of sideways. I'm fighting I wasn't fighting him southpaw because he's a southpaw. So I was on the right stance. He caught me on the upper solar plex, by my chest underneath my chest and my and the middle
Yeah,
of.
that's actually where the liver's at. You know, the liver's not really
Yeah,
that
but it
low,
wasn't
and
the
it's on the
liver.
left.
Yeah, it wasn't the liver. It was just a little bit above that. He hit me right there, and I felt like I was gonna take a shit on myself.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
I
especially
was
if he
just gonna
left-handed.
say,
And
yeah.
go ahead, Precise. Go ahead, no.
I was just gonna say because you brought up Castaño and I didn't get a chance to answer your question, BDA. You're asking what can he do in this division, and I think people are jumping to too many conclusions because the kid only has 15 fights. Like this is gonna be a major learning experience for him, and don't be surprised if he does. If they do have a rematch and he does stop Lara in the rematch, you know what I mean? So I'm expecting him to get better. Basically, I don't think he's shown us everything he got just yet. So, and I think he'll be a problem.
Castaño, precise.
Yeah, I don't think like he will beat everybody, but he'll be a good contender.
He'll be able to compete. Yeah.
When I heard you and Gonzalo talk about him, I said, you know what? let me check this dude out. You know what I'm saying? Because usually good boxing minds that can see good talent, they usually write about these guys. You just because you don't know their name doesn't mean that they're not good. So he showed me, yeah, he's a good fighter and he could get better. He looks like the kind of guy, and you saw how humble he was. Like he was going up to Lara and shaking his hand. Like, yeah, like he knows everybody should respect Lara, right? Like that's his mindset. Those guys, man, they learn on the job, bro. So they're like real humble people. They're real quiet, and they just want to get better.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
The guy's a game. He's a student of the game, bro.
Yeah,
I can tell that's what he is. Will he turn out to be great? I mean, only time will tell that, you know.
Well,
it's just I've noticed that a lot of these brawlers that go in there and fight toe to toe, they get hit a lot, and I wasn't actually seeing that from Castaño. I see that he's got pretty good waist movement, and he parries a lot of punches. He blocks them with his gloves.
He's got good defense for sure.
Yeah.
He did a good job, man. Like I said, man, I thought the boy won. In my opinion, I thought he won the fight. I thought he pulled out the last 3 rounds. The 11th round was pretty close. Still gave it to him because he was more aggressive. But he showed me. He showed me something in that fight.
I thought he edged. I
and
thought
another thing. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Gonzalo.
And another thing that helps his defense is the fact that he throws a lot of punches. You know, you're not going to be willing to open up like Lara did because, you know, you're going to get hit back. And he's adaptive, reactive to that. If you open up, he's just going to counter you and let loose on you.
Yeah, I was just going to say if he opens up, you're going to get hit with something because he's got a lot of output, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, Castaño is one of those guys who I think they mentioned that he's been boxing since he was 6. So it's not just, he didn't start in his teens. He really started as a kid. So he's got that boxing ingrained right in his brain. And, it's things like that, they become second instinct. Just going back to
it's interesting, his nickname. His nickname be the El Boxy. El Boxy.
El Boxy. What the fuck does that even mean?
I don't know. It's like a cute way of saying a boxer, El Boxy.
Right. By the way, I just wanted to, because I was looking for an article here from before Roy Jones took on Ruiz, and it's called "What Roy Can Learn from the Voices of Experience." And they had a bunch of heavyweights who had gone up to heavyweight, and they were trying to give Roy Jones advice on what it's like moving from a lower weight division up to heavyweight. And Bob Foster, you all know Bob Foster, right? Light heavyweight champ, one of the biggest punchers out light heavyweight. And he says
Joe Frazier.
Right.
If I'm Muhammad Ali too.
Yeah. And he says, at light heavyweight, I walked all over those guys. I was too big and too strong for those guys. I'd hit him clean once or twice, and that was it. But guys like Frazier, he was built like a tank. A lot of these heavyweights were just too strong. So, obviously, that's coming from a guy that was, 6'3" or something? Foster? Like Bucho keeps
something like that.
But like Bucho keeps saying...
very lanky.
Right.
Very lanky, though, like Dante Wilder.
But like Bucho says, Usyk is 6 foot. Let's say he's 6'3.5", but he does have. You can tell he's a big dude too, and he can pack on those pants. So he's a real heavyweight. He's just a guy heavyweight.
He's a heavyweight. Let's stop this shit, man.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Like he's fucking. Chris Bird made it in the division, and he was like 6'1" or some shit with no power and no skill.
Yeah. Well, He had skill. Did
Well,
you say
he
no
had
skill?
skills, but I mean,
Come on.
not the level of Usyk.
Well, at least you didn't use it with
Usyk,
slick.
Usyk beat heavyweights, and I know it's the amateurs. I know, yeah, but he went up to heavyweight or super heavyweight in the amateurs, and he whooped on all those guys. He beat guys that beat Joshua. I know it was a long time ago. They were different fighters back then, but I mean, like he literally beat the shit of Joe Joyce. He had Joe Joyce on the ropes. When do you think you're gonna see Joe Joyce on the ropes in the heavyweight division?
Yeah.
Seriously, you know what I mean?
That's a
Yeah,
good
in the
point.
chat, Tari Seals Fever says that I suspect Usyk will have trouble with combination punchers, pressure fighters like Govnacki
Uh-huh.
and Joyce. Yeah.
You know what? Call me crazy. I think Baby Miller could give him trouble just because it's a
You're
guy
crazy.
that would keep just because it's a guy that would keep coming and fight him on the real close where he might not be accustomed to fighting. As you know, listen, Baby Miller, 300 fucking pounds, fat boy could give him troubles. I don't know.
Nah,
You know what I noticed though, BDA? You know what I noticed on Baby Miller in the press conference? That
Yes.
his hands, for a big guy, his hands are really small. He's got hamburger hands. Doesn't mean that you can't punch hard with small hands.
What the hell is that?
He's got hamburger hands.
Gonzalo
Yeah.
comes up with all these fucking terms that I've never heard of. Good for you,
Yeah,
Gonzalo.
No, that's a boxing term.
Okay.
I've heard it in the United States, but I just copy somebody that said that to me one time.
I thought you
He
meant
does,
like
he does have little hands for a guy his size. He does, bro.
Do you notice that?
Yeah, no, of course. He that doesn't mean you don't have. He probably has strong
Power.
hands. If he grabs you,
Yeah.
he's probably you can't get out of it. But he does have big hands.
I don't got any gloves. What do you want me to hit you with? The table? But
But hey,
Hey,
by the
BDA,
way,
what did George Foreman used to say about big hands?
equal they equal power, and I tend to agree with that. I've said it before in the show. I think he's got
They also
something.
break easy.
I think the hands, because think about it, big hands is like those are your weapons. It's like if you're hitting somebody with a hammer, the bigger it is, it's a blunt object. So if you got big hands, I do think I've seen guys with fucking huge motherfucking hands, and they're my weight, but their hands just it looks like they were beaten by. What?
Fucking, they got catcher's mitt, right? You're like, what the?
Yeah, exactly. The worst is when you go. The worst is when you go to the to get your exam. The doctor exam. You know what I'm talking about. And they got big sausage fingers. You go, oh boy, I know where this is going. But
No, listen, man. Let me tell you something. I would never. Like, they'd be like, oh, when you hit your 40s, you're supposed to get fucking raped in your ass. No.
Wait, what?
Like, fuck it.
Nah, I'm not going. They'd be like, you're in your 40s. You should be. No, it's not gonna happen.
Can I tell you a story? Recognize? I once went to
Go
a
ahead.
doctor one time. Well, I was watching the news, and they go up next. Hard hitting news, and they talk about this proctologist that was like sexually abusing his male patients, and I realized that I'd gone to that proctologist once. I'm not kidding. I'll tell you what. But hold on.
Go ahead.
Here's what happened. He didn't do anything to me because that's not how I roll. But I was in there in the office, and I knew something was wrong when right before the exam he asked me if I wanted the upgrade, and I said no, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. And then when I said no,
Oh, go ahead.
well, it's a two-parter. When I said no, he says, well, I got some videos to put you in the mood. He told me he had the infamous Andrew Ward, Max Kellerman Jamaica tape. And I said, you know what, Doc, I got to get the fuck out
I
of
knew
here.
that was
That's
going
my
somewhere.
story.
No, I was just. I told you about when I had to have the ultrasound on my nuts, didn't I, BDA? This is a true. This is a true story.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this fucking broad that came in there was fucking Mr. Man from Scary Movie over here,
no.
bro. Yeah, she fucking Kathy Bates over here, fucking putting that wax shit on my balls that they put on the female's stomach. Fucking, I was like, Jesus Christ, this bitch is gonna rip my fucking testes off over
But
here.
wait, what happened?
Oh,
why
God.
did you have to go for that?
I don't know. They fucking felt a little something. I might have had a little something in there. I
That's
was
how
like,
they
oh,
make their
shit.
money, man. That's how they
I
make
was
their
like,
money.
Hey, Jimmy, remember when I was talking about when I had a Q-tip stuck down my dick, the canal of my dick to check my. Yeah, no, you know what that really was? I was getting checked for prostate, but they put a camera down my penis That's what they do. They dilate it with water.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
and they stick a camera. They stick a
Well,
camera and they
they're
check.
looking for polyps and shit.
Yeah, that's the new way they check for cancer.
That's
Yeah, it's a new way.
Wait,
That's a
so
new way.
wait,
What?
so wait a second. So you're
It's better
saying
than the old way.
that they don't put it up your butt no more, right?
Well, for a prostate check, they put a camera down your urethra. That's what it's called.
Right.
Oh,
I do
let me
that for
ask you
fun,
something,
by the
Gonzalo.
way.
Was that painful?
Coming out.
Yeah, it's painful. It's painful coming out.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
You know that.
Well, man.
And the doctor, I asked him, hey, I asked the nurse guy that helps the doctor, hey, do a lot of guys, some guys, they cry, they're big guys, and they come in and they cry like little girls. So you're not so bad. That's what he told me.
Well, it's not as bad as the catheter.
I'd rather die than fuck it.
I had a catheter in. I had a catheter.
You'd be surprised.
Hold on. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, from a motorcycle accident. I was med-flighted, and they thought I was going to die, so they were, they stuffed that thing down my throat. The fucking catheter down my dick. Yeah, that was like 3 days later. They said, okay, we're going to take it out. First, they pulled out the tube, and I'm like, because you wake up, you're like, oh, you're looking around the room, and fucking that thing's down your throat. So when they pulled that out, and which was suck, you're like, give me ice. And then all of a sudden, but that's nothing. Now this is going to be the part that hurts. So it's, oh yeah, I'll tell you, dude. I'm like, they're like, ready? 1, 2? No, the fucking 2 instead of 3. They pulled it out because it sits. It's even worse. But they didn't expect me to come out of it. So I don't think they were too cautious in shoving it in. I don't think they used any of that fucking Vaseline. I think they grabbed my dick and just started plunging.
Let me tell you something. That's what
Pulp Fiction.
Victor Atkinson told me about. Victor Atkinson told me about that. And when I asked him what it's called, because I knew that's what they do in the S&M community. Those guys that they like having stuff shoved up their dick holes. And he said it's called. The name is called sounding. So that's a real thing. That it's called sounding. What?
What is it called?
Sounding.
Maybe because you scream like a motherfucker.
Yeah, they fucking jamming your pee hole. You're like, oh, you motherfucker.
Hey, listen, I hate to go back to boxing. Are we done with the dick hole thing, or?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious because I'm reading this magazine. Going back to what Michael Spence said about heavyweights here in the magazine, and he says, before he went up to heavyweight, he was preparing for it. And he was adding muscle because he said he wanted, I'm quoting here, he wanted armor.
Bad job.
Was that?
He did a bad job.
Michael Spinks?
Yeah, putting muscles on, I'm saying.
Well, listen, here's what he had to say about that. This is why he did it. But man.
And he looked good. And he looked good is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, wasn't he with Mikey Shieldstone for that one?
He probably was.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't. Well, anyway, it's not a bodybuilding contest. But anyway, here's what he had to say. He said, man, the fucking heavyweights hit hard. I didn't think that I'd be able to take a punch from a big heavyweight because I have a skinny neck. Plus, as a light heavyweight, I was used to fighting guys about the same size, but I found I could take the punch from those guys. As a heavyweight, I was still a puncher. If I nailed anyone clean, they went. When I went up in weight, I would hit Tex Cobb. Now, you know Tex Cobb, one of the toughest fighters ever. And he says, Tex Cobb, who was a kickboxer, I hit him so hard in the gym, he would jump and do a 360-degree turn and more like he was going to kick me. That's when I knew I hurt him. My punches kicked. I could hurt heavyweights. But then look at what he says. He says, Larry Holmes was a very difficult fight. He was very difficult to hit. I knew I had to fight him like a bat out of hell. He was a boxer and he didn't make a lot of contact like clinching. So this is interesting because, like Precise said, if Usyk does go to heavyweight, it's not going to be really the guy that's going to try to impose his size on him. It's going to be the guy that's not going to come to him. And I know some people, you know what I mean? So it's sometimes...
They're going to try to bait him in, like try to bait him in and time him and hit him with a big shot.
Exactly. So that's what Michael Spinks.
That's how you have to, like, these heavyweights, you got to understand, these heavyweights made their living knocking guys out. So they're going to do the same thing with him. They're going to try to knock him out, see if he, they're going to try to bully him. They're going to see if that works, Not saying that it will, but that's what they have to do. They're not going to really win a boxing fight with him.
Yeah, man.
Did you guys see that fight between Usyk and Joe Joyce?
I did.
I didn't see it. No.
It was a very interesting fight. Usyk clearly beat him. He clearly won. At certain points, he started backing Joyce up.
Recognize this was sparring or an amateur fight?
No, this is an amateur.
Semi-pro.
Semi-pro.
Yeah.
Because it was the World Series of
Boxing,
the World Series boxing, yeah, and it was at heavyweight, and Usyk
gotta
looked
watch this
tiny.
shit.
He looked tiny.
Yeah, it's on
against
YouTube
Joyce.
there. You can see. Oh shit, shouldn't be playing. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's on YouTube, and I did also see. You can also catch Usyk against Beterbiev from the amateurs. Pretty good
Yeah,
fight.
I have to see that fight too.
Man, that was a
That
good
was a
fight.
good fight. Yeah.
The
Beterbiev
way
was
to beat
pissed, boy.
Usyk, yeah, the way to beat Usyk as a heavyweight, I think probably would be like to make him feel comfortable in there, like he's doing his thing, and once he gets comfortable, because the other guy's gonna hit him at least one or a few times because it's boxing, just make him feel comfortable, like he's doing his thing, and time him and get him with the big
The
shot.
way to
see how
beat
he
him
reacts.
is to Klitschko his ass. That's the way to beat him. Grab a hold of him, maul him, do that. That's the way to beat him at heavyweight.
Or shove something up his dick hole. Another thing that
Come on now.
another thing that I wanted
before the fight.
right before the fight. Well, actually, knowing Klitschko, he might enjoy that. Listen, actually, what am I talking about? That's Usyk. Now, the point is this: I wanted to ask. Normally, I don't like to talk about the fucking Q rating of a fight or whatever, but I wanted to ask Jimmy something because I know Jimmy. You said you were a couple of episodes ago. You said you were doing the rounds on Twitter, and apparently, from what you read on social media, public sentiment for Joshua was starting to sour a little bit. Well, I was browsing YouTube the other day, and Joshua was on that show. What's it called? Recognize? You know that show on Sirius XM?
The Breakfast Club.
What is it? Is it with Charlemagne? They call the guy Charlemagne the Great.
That motherfucker needs a swift fucking roundhouse kick in the face.
Well, hold on. Didn't he get hit? Didn't he get assaulted? Didn't he get assaulted in the streets? And there's a video out there of.
Oh yeah. Of course, he was talking shit. I'm from the South. These niggas from New York are soft. Little Kim is this. And he got punched in the face.
Jeez. At least he didn't.
The guys that did it were pussies too. I gotta be honest. Man, we could. I know guys that could have done that shit much better.
Who hit him? Who hit him, man?
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Some Brooklyn cats, like they punched him in the face.
Like
it was some sucker shit. It was honestly, in defense to Charlemagne, the guy like punched him. Like one guy tricked him and like, yo, you Charlemagne? Yeah. What's up, B? I got you on video. What's going on? Yeah, nothing. Boom. Some guy just punches him in the face. And he runs off like a bitch. That's what made him look like a
Anyway,
bitch.
listen, I didn't want to talk about
because he said that he wouldn't run from nobody.
All right, listen, I don't want to get into this whole fucking Charlemagne the guy. I was just saying that that's the guy right on the show. And by the way, recognize
Charlemagne the God, yeah.
You sounded like Marcellus Wallace there when you were talking about, like, I know a couple of guys that could really take care of him. Blowtorch, a couple of, what was it called? A couple of, what was it?
Go to work on the homeboy with a blowtorch and a pair of pliers.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for competing the quote. My mind is going all over the place. Listen, Jimmy, I wanted to ask you. So you said you saw that Joshua people were souring on him, but I went on this. I know it's not indicative of the way people look at him as a whole, but I was on the YouTube channel there on the video when he was on the Breakfast Club, and I was reading the comments. A lot of people, especially a lot of Americans, they were like, "Whoa, this dude is well spoken. He's respectful." Compared to at least to Wilder, who said he wanted to kill somebody, and Fury, who's a fucking cokehead. So apparently they were saying that it seems like a lot of people were impressed, whether he's genuine or not. A lot of people were impressed with Fury. Do you think, from a Q rating perspective, do you think Joshua could actually be a bigger star in the U.S. than Wilder? Like he has more potential than Wilder has?
Oh, absolutely. Just because, first off, it's everybody. It's just different when you see a big black guy talk with an English accent. You know what I mean? And he's a handsome guy. He's jacked up. So just for that angle, the cultural differences, that would make him unique to the women, right? Instead of a fucking, a Bama boy who just fucking talks gangster anytime he's around other black people, yelling that fucking 50, 100 years, 200 years. You're like, really? You're going to start talking civil rights, you fucking knucklehead? Shut up. You know what I mean? Shut up.
Last time Wilder was on that very same show, he was talking about wanting to kill somebody in the ring. So
the very same show, yeah.
Bro, when you're talking about I want to kill somebody and I want to splatter this dude, Bucho, you put that in the Hangouts. I want to splatter your fucking brains all over. That just tells me you're just putting on an act, bro. You ain't trying to do none of that shit, bro.
Yeah, because you don't talk about that. You don't be saying like, I'm gonna splatter you when I see you. No, like you don't do that shit.
Him and his fucking brother who just got slept attacked a fucking man, his woman with their children. Wrap your head around that. Like 20 of him and his
Yeah.
fucking Bama boys. And when the wife said, not in front of my kids, they said Wilder's the one who said it, but his brother said, no, it was me. But people on the scene said it was Wilder. Said, fuck your kids.
Well,
Like,
Jimmy,
right
Jimmy,
in front.
we should say
Yeah,
we should say
yeah,
we should say
outside the
allegedly.
fight.
And
We
you
should say
wonder why
allegedly.
they get shot all the time. You wonder why.
But we gotta
wonder
we gotta
why
hold
they
on.
get
We gotta
shot.
Well,
say
they're being sued right now. This is still going to court.
No, I mean
what's his
they
name?
deserve to get. Listen, I agree they deserve, but I'm saying you wonder why they get shot.
oh
You wonder
Wait
why.
a
Like
minute.
you get. Listen, you do that to people. That you're gonna if you keep doing that, eventually it goes full circle. You meet somebody that's crazy,
Yeah.
and he pulls out his gat and he blows your fucking head off.
Yeah, exactly.
And he doesn't give a fuck who, why? Because you said fuck your kids.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be a limit, bro.
That's
Bro,
a good
when you-
point.
I think the. Go ahead, Johnny.
Gonzalo.
You haven't spoken. Go ahead. You haven't spoken in a while.
No, I was just gonna say, bro, when you talk, I don't care how good of a fighter you are. When you talking reckless about people's kids and shit, bro, you're gonna run across the wrong motherfucker or the wrong group of motherfuckers that don't care, bro, and they're gonna serve you up, bro, straight up.
And I was just saying it plays towards his personality. It plays towards the character of the man. You know what I mean? Like I've gotten out where I've gotten ready, like to pull some dude out of his fucking car and I would run up to the car and all of a sudden you look over and there's a baby and there's a kid in the car. And I don't give a fuck. I don't care what the dude says. Then he can say, "Oh, you pussy" or whatever. I'm not going to fight the dude in front of his kid.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean?
Well, hold on.
that's how
Gonzalo
I
wanted to say something. Gonzalo, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I just thought about this and to correlate with that. Remember, BDA, when you were talking about the movies from the past, how they're not scary no more?
Uh-huh.
I think Dante Wilder is not original. I think he tries to copy a lot of the things that, the antics that Mike Tyson had. Mike Tyson was just like that, naturally. But he did a lot of things that were negative, but he got the attention. He captured the people's minds. And when they used to say he was the baddest man on the planet. But for Dante Wilder, it doesn't work that way. Even though he's got all these knockouts, he pretends to be this guy. We just live in different times. Times have evolved. If Mike Tyson were nowadays, being that way, I don't think he'd be really that successful. But I mean, he was original for the time. Nobody had seen that. But it just goes to show that a person has to be original, and people are not gonna eat that shit up. Like if you just put it up a front.
Well, and I was
Also-
just. Oh, go ahead, Butcher. I'm sorry.
Just quickly, because Wilder isn't even promoted properly, so he has to compensate by him creating his own type of promotion by talking all this shit.
It's a good
You
point.
know,
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna ask. Didn't he come at fucking Brazil when he was in front of his kid or his girl or something?
That's what we're talking about. Yeah, that's
what
what he
we're talking
said.
about. And supposedly the whole thing was over an argument between Brazil and his brother during the Wilder Washington fight, right? So that's supposedly where it happened. It's like, yo, dude, your brother's a man. Like I got brothers. I got younger brothers. My younger brothers, we were raised different. But one of them said to me, "Yo, I got beef with this dude." This dude, I would have been like, first thing I would have been like, "What happened, bro?" And if he would have told me, "Yeah, he was talking shit," I said, "What did you say?" I was talking shit right back. All right, then fuck it. Let's just keep walking.
They cheered for his opponent. That was the bottom line. Brooke Wilder's brother saw them, Brazil's cheering for the guy Wilder was fighting, and that's all it took. And they went berserk.
Who cares? He doesn't look. Why are you so emotional?
Because he
that
said
guy
you
doesn't like
what his excuse is, he said, because you don't come here and disrespect me in my own home, my own house. He took that as an insult.
Oh my god!
Total street fucking punk bullshit. He was just looking to excuse to act like a knucklehead. I mean, look at his brother. I mean, do you hear his brother talk? I'm just being straight up honest. There's a reason why I don't give him many interviews. I think he's functionally retarded. And I'm not even trying to be funny.
Oh man, you know what?
I'm
It's
just
interesting.
Being honest.
It's interesting, Jimmy. You said, just real quick as an aside, you said, "Oh man, if I see somebody with their kids, I leave it alone." That's the difference between you and me. When I see them with their kids, that's when I go in for the kill because I know they're vulnerable. But listen, the point is this. The point is this. Like I think Gonzalo made a very good point about Wilder and Pucho too. He's overcompensating, and I also think it's because in part it's because he's very insecure, and that's why he blows up. He blows a fuse. But recognize, I think you said it right. Like there's a difference between he's crazy, but he's not genuine badass street level. I'm gonna kill you, crazy, right? I think you said
No,
that.
of course not, because you can see. Okay, look, for instance, he would have killed somebody by now had he was like naturally like that, and he would have no boxing career. On top of that, everything would be fucked up. He's putting on, which makes it worse in a way, because look, when you jump somebody, now listen, I've jumped one guy. Actually, there was like a group of guys. We jumped these 3 guys one time because these fucking guys deserved it. All right, like they did something bad to like somebody from around where I lived at. So we happened to catch them and we threw them a beating. We threw them a pretty bad whooping. But I always thought guys that jump you over an argument, those are the biggest pussies. They're cowards, bro. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not dangerous. Obviously, they'll jump you. You know what I'm saying? And when you're getting beat up by more than one guy, it's always a dangerous situation. Okay, the fact that he did that when Brazil was there with his wife, and apparently his wife said, can you not do that in front of my kids, please? Like maybe I could imagine her having to say that. She must have been really scared.
Right.
Okay, she must have been really scared. For you to not have no emotion about that and say fuck all that, I'm still gonna beat your man up.
Yeah. For what? And for what?
And for what? What did he do? If had Brazil stabbed his brother, I would say, okay, that's a little harsh, but god damn it, don't go around stabbing people. That's what happens.
Yeah.
But just because he said, fuck your brother, I'm here to root for, let's just say Brazil came out real disrespectful and said, man, fuck your brother. I'm here rooting for my boy Washington because we both from California. West Coast in the house, bitch. Like, let's just say he said that. That's not worth beating somebody up in front of their kids.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Come on.
Bro, I remember, man, there's been a couple of times where I'd be out and shit, and like, I'd be out with a group of dudes or whatever, bro. We'd be out drinking and shit, jumping around at the bars and fucking. There'd always be that one of your boys that gets real tough when he's got a couple of drinks in him, and he'd start talking shit to somebody else at the bar, and I'd be like, listen, bro, I'd be like, listen, bro, I'm not getting involved. If this motherfucker slaps you, I'm not getting involved. Now, if you get jumped on or something, that's a different story. But if this motherfucker starts smacking you for talking shit, bro, I'm not jumping in on that shit, bro.
Exactly.
Hey, BDA, I think we know somebody like that.
Yeah, we know. There's nothing worse when you have those guys, the guys that start talking shit in public to other people, and then I tell them, listen, you're dragging me into this. You're asking me to. You're putting me in danger too, because I'm gonna have to stand up for you. I'm not gonna leave you in the dust. But think about what the fuck you're doing. Yeah, those especially like you said, when they start drinking and they start getting confident, and you're like, oh boy, time to get out of here.
Oh man,
Yeah,
they get what they call the beer muscles.
Yeah, liquor tough recognized.
That's a good one.
Bro, I had this one boy. I don't even fucking go out with him no more because he'd always pull this shit, bro. He'd fucking get a couple drinks in him, start listening to fucking Tupac, and act like he's hard. And I'd be like, dog. Like I say, I'm not gonna let you get jumped or get your fucking head kicked. I'm not gonna let nobody pull a fucking Billy Bats on you, bro. But if this dude gets up and smacks the shit out of you, I'm not even gonna get involved, bro. Like, fuck, shut your mouth, dog.
You know something? BDA, when I was growing up, I always had a great understanding. And even today, like, I always had a great understanding, like, look, let's say between you and Bucho, so I hope nobody gets offended when I say this. Let's say Bucho's the fighter, but BDA, you're not the fighter.
Oh.
Right? No, I'm just saying. Listen. You're more of the peaceful guy. You got a lot to lose.
Right.
Just put it that. Me and Bucho, we got nothing to lose. Right. I always felt comfortable if me and Bucho was going to go hang out because we've been in a few fights together and we've gotten out of there alive. We took out some people here and there. We did our thing. If me and Bucho go out and we go to a rowdy bar, I'm comfortable. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that with you, BDA. I'm just using you for an example. I always knew the difference, right? Like, okay, BDA is the guy that has to be at work, has to do what he has to do. So we're going to go to a nice bar where I'm going to chill with BDA and that's it. But then there's those friends that they have no concept of what kind of person they're hanging out with. Yo,
Yeah.
your man's a bitch. He didn't even want to. The dude never said he was a fighter, bro. The dude is a calm guy. He has a family. He has work. He's not here to get it. What is he gonna say when he can't go to work because he's in the hospital?
That's a good point.
Me and you are bums. We're not doing anything with our lives right now. So we don't. This is before I turn into the great man that I am today.
But you know what? First of all, I gotta say,
when I wasn't doing shit, BDA. When I wasn't doing shit, I wasn't gonna take you down with me. Is what I'm
Right.
trying to say.
Well, that's at least that, yeah.
Me and Bucho are losers. We have nothing going on. If we go to jail, we go to jail. We could afford the time. We'll be all right at the end of the day. I'm not gonna do that to you.
You know what? Somebody's gonna take that audio and isolate it, and it's just gonna be recognized saying, "Me and Butch are losers." But listen, anyway. And by the way, but hold on. Let me just say something. Recognize. Are you saying I'm not a fighter because I've admitted on this show that when I go to drink, I like Long Island iced teas? Is that why? Is that what threw me off, man?
Did it, and your Bible studies.
And my Bible studies. But you know, it's a good point because I haven't seen, listen, I'm not a tough guy. I haven't seen that many, fights in public and all that. But I've seen enough of them on, World Star. We've talked about that, right? Like you start watching fights on YouTube, real ugly fights where guys get knocked out and they keep getting hit on and everything. But it's interesting because you if you've been in altercations and everything, you understand the ramifications that somebody could hurt you or you could hurt somebody else, and you could get, especially here in Canada. Oof, forget about it. It's a whole other story. But it's usually the guys that haven't ever been in fights. Those are the ones that when they recognize it, they get the beer muscles, they start yapping, running their jaws. And those are the guys, you see them the first time they get punched, the look on their face, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, you're allowed to hit me? Like, what the fuck's going on? You can tell they didn't expect to be hit because they're in a whole different world. They're not from the world where if you talk shit to a guy, some fucking psychos out there, they're just going to hit you, no talking. They're not going to warn you. So,
and BDA, the dude I mentioned before, bro, the one that gets liquor tough, bro. I sparred with him before because he was all fucking out of his wits, bro. He got fucking and he got his ass kicked. So he knows, bro. And then he goes out and he thinks I'm gonna whatever I say, I'm just gonna get away with it because I'm with Johnny, bro. No, dog, you ain't. That's not how it works, bro.
Yeah, those people are dangerous, man. Those people could be dangerous because they can get you killed.
Well, that's why I don't fuck with them no more. And this I'm saying and we'd be with 4, 5, 6 people, but he was just always the one that had to say, you know what I'm saying, bro? Yeah.
No, I know what you're saying.
I was gonna say, Dante Wilder and his brother Marcellus, and Recognize talked about it. It kind of goes like this too with his career. But as far as his the things they do, and they get away with, I think it's largely has to do with, their world is Alabama, so they can get away with it in Alabama. And as far as Dante Wilder's career, not stepping up and taking these big paydays, because he's the type of guy that's smart enough, or his mind only revolves around the fact that they hype up his name and say, yeah, you're the WBC champion, you're the champion of the world, but he lives in Alabama, and what as far as his mind can see and the people around him, that's what he considers his world, and he's happy to live within his means. I don't think he's really looking to make millions upon millions for now. I mean, he's trying to get that big payday when that actually he might end up on the not making the smart decision. But for now, he's just happy to be himself, and people keep telling him, you're Dante Wilder, the champion of the world, but his mind is only around Alabama.
You know what? That's a very good point, because maybe he's just content on making those $1 million, $2 million. Maybe for him that's enough. He wants to take care of his daughter, and that's it.
And that's commendable, bro. If that's his thing, I don't even knock him for it. Look, when you get older, there's certain things that I felt like when it came to money, I'd be like, yo, I'm willing to take that risk. I'm willing to do that. But now it's a little different. When you start maturing, you're like, nah, that sounds good, but I'm comfortable here. And things are working out just fine for me here. So I'm not going to really take that risk. That's fine. But then don't act like you're this you're this conqueror.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
He might just be cool. Yeah.
Don't act like you're Alexander the Great. You know?
Well, he might be like Alexander the Great, Deontay Wilder, if you know what I mean. He might be, he might be of that persuasion. But by the way, Gonzalo, before you go on, I just wanted to read the chat real quick. Grievous says, vodka makes some people go nuts. Shepherd the Sun says, BDA turns Cuban in a fight. Absolutely, that's for sure. He's seen me fight, probably. Triple J says, don't even think about taking my VHS boxing tapes or you're finished. Hawker Mustang says BDA has Justin Trudeau posters all over the place. Hey, have you fuckers snuck into my apartment or something? How the fuck do you know that?
This is true, Hawker. It is true.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not denying that. Gonzalo used to get into bar fights in Tijuana. Shepherd the Sun says, as he says, Wilder isn't a world champion. He never travels. Okay. Chris Gonzalez says they use BDA's wallet. They use BDA's wallet as a prop in Pulp Fiction because of the badass thing. Absolutely, I got that stitch in my wallet. By the way, Gonzalo, is it true you used to get into a lot of fights in Tijuana, or?
The truth, yes. When I was a teenager, yes, you just get a lot of fights. I have a lot of broken bones, and a lot of scars in my head.
Now, was that just because you had to get into fights, or most of the time were you looking for them?
Well, I used to, I didn't pursue boxing 100%. Because I was taking them roofies back in the days.
Oh.
The roofies, and a lot of people used to take them down over in Tijuana. And then you just kind of forget what you do and you do crazy things. Like I ran away from home to Mexico, to Guanajuato, Mexico, and I was out there for some time. Then I would come back and just, back and forth, just did a lot of stupid shit. That's why I went into the military.
Right. They set you straight.
Yeah.
I remember telling my father.
Straight.
I remember telling my father, right? I was 16. I would always go visit New York in the summertime. I was 16. I'm like, Pops, I want to stay here with his sister, my aunt. I could stay here. I'll go to school. I could pursue my boxing, and everything. I told him all this shit. And really, I meant it, too. I really meant it. But goddamn, man. Honestly, it was a lie. Maybe not consciously, subconsciously, it was a lie. Because New York, staying in New York, especially at that time, man, it was just like a different world for me completely. You could do whatever the fuck you want, and if you do that, there's no really discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Like my father was disciplined. Like, all right, let's go work out, let's go do this, let's go do that. I had to answer to somebody.
Yeah, mine too.
And when I was 16, man, I was living with my aunt. I love her, but my aunt was like, "Hey, do your thing, Dad."
Look, I went to Mexico and I came back with 30 stitches on my temple and my ear. My ear was cut in half. And I came back, and my brother, I have a twin brother, and he was taking them roofies too. And I went home, and they confused me with my brother.
Oh.
And 2-3 days later, after I came back, they hit me with a stick on the top of my head, and I got 12 more stitches. This was days after.
Let me tell you something.
Crazy.
I got into people in the chat room want to know about my fight history. I'll give you a little fight, a scrap that I got into, and I struggled. I'm not gonna lie, I struggled, but I came out on top as always. This fucking guy, man, this one kid, he was tough, man. I would hit him, he would keep coming, Finally, I had to start fighting dirty. Couple of cheap shots here and there, boom, he finally went down. And his mother was there in the neighborhood. She comes out, she's like, "Oh, you hurt my baby. He's only 5 years old." And I said, "Well, listen, bitch, he started it, so what do you want from me? What do you want from me?"
Yo, 5-year-old was whipping BDA's ass. Oh, man.
Hey, he was built. No, don't get it twisted, man. He was built like fucking Joe Frazier. I don't know what they feed these babies now. Must be all that breast milk or something.
Yeah,
but
I fucking one time, bro. I fucking was boxing this kid. He was a big Mexican kid too, bro. But he was big. He was huge. He was like 6'2" or something. Because I'm like 5'11", 6 foot, bro. But I was tuning him up. We were just talking about how the little guys be getting around, and but he caught me with a body shot, fucking dropped me, knocked the wind out of me and shit, bro. We gotta go on.
Oh boy.
I got a whole bunch of fight stories. I got a bunch of them too, man.
Well, listen, you get into enough street fights, you win some, you lose some. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, BDA.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes you gotta run. You're like, "Oh, I'm out of here."
Oh, Michael Stott just donated. Shout out to Michael Stott, and he says, "Hell yes."
Shout out to Stott.
He says, hell yes, BDA is still going strong. Great hangout. Thanks, Michael, for your contribution. It's putting us closer to that fucking call-in show we've been wanting to set up. I think we're gonna set it up. We're gonna set it up. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, you know what? That should be interesting, man. Like all these phone calls coming in, you're gonna get a lot of haters calling in too.
That's what we want. Because we can't have him on the hangouts because then it just creates
a
whole...
How are we gonna work it out? Like, because we're gonna be like 10 people at the same time, right? So
yeah,
I guess somebody takes the call.
Yeah, you know what?
Somebody volunteers.
We'll ask people before they call. Like, tell us who, like, specific questions for a specific panelist.
Castaño said 6'2" Mexican. He goes, that wasn't no Mexican.
I swear. I swear, bro. His name was Jonito, bro.
Juanito.
Yeah. Juanito. Yeah, he's Mexican. Juanito.
He was a 2-6er from Chi-Town, bro.
Yeah, sounds like it. Because his nickname Juanito, usually the ones they call Chiquilin or the little one, they're like really big,
I got a funny story about his mom too, actually, bro. But I didn't touch her or nothing, but she my buddy's dad was over at this dude's crib, and we had sparred or whatever. But my other buddy's dad was over at this dude's crib, and she made him dinner, and she drugged him, bro, and like fucking. What? Yeah, I swear to God, dog. I swear to God.
His own mother drugged him?
No. Another friend of mine.
Oh, okay, I got you.
His dad. Yeah, his dad. She crunched up a bunch of Xanax or something and put it in his fucking food, and like strapped him up to the bed on some fucking wedding crasher shit. I don't know. Yeah, something. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Fuck?
Wait. She had. What she do? What? Hold on. What? The most interesting part? What she had? Like, sex with him or something?
Yeah. Like she
sounds like a winner. Sounds like marriage material. That girl. I'm gonna tell you.
So what's wrong about this thing? I don't understand.
Bro, she was a fucking Spanish Kathy Bates.
Oh.
It was. I don't know. I was there for part of it. I ate the food and fell asleep. I left and fell asleep. Let me just put it to you that way.
She drugged the whole fucking.
she drugged the whole neighborhood. Yeah.
Like 5 people.
Yeah, I swear, bro. It was craziness, bro.
Is she still alive?
I used to hang out with this one kid, man. His mother was a horny bitch, bro. Yo, this was like, you see, this is why it's bad for for women to have kids when they're like fucking teenagers. Cause like, I think my boy's mother was like 14 years older than him, maybe. Like 14 years. So one day we hanging out and like I had to use the bathroom, and I mean I'm taking a fucking piss, right? And she's trying to open the door. She's like, "Oh, I thought you was my son." And I was like, "Well, I mean, it's okay. I didn't know how to answer her. I was like, I'm not gonna disrespect her. Like, well, do you fucking barge in on your son when he's taking a piss too?"
Well, wait a minute. Did she actually catch a glance at the anaconda or?
Yeah, she I think she saw the 12-inch, python.
Did she lick her, wait, hold on. Did she stand there and lick her lips while she was talking to you, or?
Like, okay, so like I turned and I was trying to like not piss out the fucking the toilet bowl. So like I kind of turned. I said, "Excuse me," and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were my son." I'm like, "Oh no, I'm almost done." She's like, "All right." And then, like, when I come out, she's like still by the fucking door. I'm like, yo, what's my boy supposed to think when if he was to like walk out his room or whatever? And
no, come on. But here's
you there.
Well, the question is, was she hot though?
Yeah,
she wasn't bad looking. Like back then, I was probably like 17. She was 31. Like
we actually have a recording of that scenario.
God, I want to hear it.
Get down there and eat my ass. Get down there on your knees and eat my fucking ass.
All right, she sounds like a real winner.
Back then, I was a little freak, so I probably would have did it.
I know there's
come here, girl.
Over by my house in Tijuana, where my mom and dad lives, there's a big house that was a mansion before, but it got turned into a rehab center. It used to be owned by the Arellano Felix cartel, that house. Oh. And they turned it into a rehab center by an ex-drug addict they used to run with that cartel. So a lot of the kids from the United States, the owner, he gives the family members roofies like Xanax, and he tells them to crush the pills and put them in the son's drink so they can bring them across the border and put them in the rehab. And that place is filled with U.S. Mexican American, mostly some American, some white guys in that center. They're in the rehab center, and he gets paid like $400-500 a month, the guy. And there's like
Isn't
200-300 people in there.
there
In
was
that
an
house,
article?
in that rehab house.
There was an article
What's
recently
that?
about that. There was an article recently about that, about these people that are always, these companies that are on the lookout for ex-opioid addicts because they know they can make money off of them if they put them in rehabs and shit like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah,
make
yeah.
there's a nice business on that, bro, especially in Florida.
And it helps the family too, because if your son's a big problem and he's just stealing all the shit from the house and getting in trouble,
Uh-huh.
the laws in the United States, they put you in a rehab, but you're free to go after like 48 hours. But they
Huh.
take you to Mexico, and the laws are different.
All right. Shout out to Aztec Astlan who just subscribed. Shout out to Aztec Astlan who just subscribed. By the way, is it easy to get laid in rehab if you're like with women? Because they always say when
Yes. Yes.
It is?
BDA. Yes.
I've never been to rehab, so I don't know. But like I've heard stories, bro. I've heard like some crazy stories. Like, look, man,
I
a lot
got
of these
some.
girls, are crazy. Like they're just crazy women. They do drugs. They want to fuck. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It should be easy.
It's especially when you're in Florida.
Why?
Yeah, forget it, man. Can I tell you this quick story real quick, right? So one day there was a girl from the neighborhood where I lived at in Florida, right? And she came out of rehab, right? She had come out of rehab, and she was like, looking good, and she came on to me big time. Like she was just like, I want to do this. What, she want to fuck,
Mhm.
dude. It was weird, right? Because she went doggy style, like just turned around doggy style. So
Oh, you already said it 3 times.
she put the hands behind the back of the ass, and she spread. When I
Right.
when I saw those holes, I said, "Oh hell no!"
Oh.
I mean, they
Oh my
were
god.
both were wide open.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, she was letting out pussy farts before you stick anything in.
Oh man.
I was like, "Oh, get the fuck!"
Oh wait. First of all, two questions. Recognize 2 questions. One.
Shove your fucking arm in there.
Yeah, it's like. Hold on. Recognize 2 questions. One. Please tell me your son's not in the same room with you. Number 2. I'm just saying.
Nobody's around me right now.
Okay. And number two, didn't you tell us that story about? Is it the same girl that one time you were with a girl who was hot and you always wanted to fuck, and then once you finally did, you realize, oh shit, she's wide open.
That's her.
Oh
Yeah.
no. And it was both
I was
holes.
Damn, you got good memory. That's exactly her. And like I said, she was a really okay. Let me give you a description. You ever meet those Spanish girls that they got a tan, but they have green eyes?
Yes.
That's her. That's her. That's the type of girl she was. So she had like these big, beautiful eyes you could see from a mile away.
Oh, she had big,
Right?
beautiful something else too, right? Big, wide open
I
holes.
said, I was just like, how many guys rammed this chick?
Oh.
Damn.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I still fucked her though.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Sorry, Gonzalo.
Yeah, I still fucked her.
Before we get to Gonzalo, isn't that why they for a while there was this craze on the internet of products that they would sell for women, like exercises they could do to tighten the pussy up, because they know, like, they want to have that tight pussy, so guys don't think that they're a bunch of fucking whores. Isn't that what was going on a couple of years ago?
Yeah,
Anybody?
I remember what you're talking about, but that's yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Gonzalo.
don't
What
know.
did you want to say?
I just gonna say the problem with having a girl in rehab. Look, I when I got out the military, I was going on these crazy what they call bingers in Tijuana. Then I would go to the veterans because I'm 100% disabled. So I go into the programs at the VA, and they had this rehab home for veterans, and there's like 300 people there, but mostly they're mostly guys, and there's only like 10 girls. And I was in a wheelchair, disabled, and I was able to pick up this white girl, this blonde girl with the big ass, And I think there's only like 4 girls at the time, and this girl was pushing me around everywhere, on the walks outside and this and that. A lot of those guys were hating on me, because there's mostly guys in there. So I had the nice with the white chick, the Mexican guy, and a lot of people are talking behind my back,
Give me that white
and I
chocho.
fell in, and I'm just coming off, and the thing is, I'm just coming off, abusing substances, trying to get my shit together. So when they say work your program, I thought in my mind that I really wanted a relationship with this girl because I was empty
Oh,
inside. So
right.
the moment she started talking to her her sponsor, and they told her you got to put some separation because she's thinking the way you are too. You got to put some separation in between you and her. I
Right.
got really emotionally attached because that's what I believed. That's where my mind went to. I really love this chick, and this chick also she's coming from the streets, and her mind is depraved. And we're
Yeah.
going to from the program to the VA actual to the hospital, and she's like, I want to fuck, and we would go on the stairwells, on the emergency escape. And I was like, man, this chick is crazy.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Hold on a
she was
second. Hold
just
on,
a
hold on,
freak.
hold on, hold on.
We
Gonzalo,
would go to the VA hospital for appointments, and we go to the emergency escape, and she's like, I want to fuck. So I come back to the program because you get this pass to go out in the day, and you come to the VA program,
right.
and you're there. For the first month, you can't go out only to the hospital and back, and usually it's with the chaperone. But in this case, I was going out with the girl, and
Right.
she's the one that I was fucking on the emergency escape. So it's like I came back, and then they say, oh, you got to put a distance between you and her. And also, I was going into her room there and messing with her, but it ended up bad because I ended up breaking into the girl's room, kind of pulling her from the arm, and everybody's like,
Wait, hold on, hold on, hold on. I gotta ask.
yeah. I basically became this jealous Mexican guy, because Mexicans are known to be real jealous like that. So there was already word that I was doing bad in the program, but when I broke into her room and I yanked her from the arm,
That white pussy
and then
better,
I chased
boy.
one time I chased her into the
Bro,
one time
let me
one time I chased her into the cafeteria and she lived behind the salad bar. And she's like, I just got crazy Mexican jealous.
Can you hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Can you imagine? I can just picture Gonzalo on his wheelchair running after this girl to the fucking.
Born on the 4th of July or something.
No, I had crutches too. And people would come up with stories, like the counselors there. I can hear Gonzalo chasing after Jennifer with that crutch. You can hear him coming from a mile away.
Oh man,
bro,
Damn.
let me say, all right, bro.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with chicks in rehab, bro. It's always one of them, one of them, whether it's the boy or the girl, one of them's actually trying to clean their shit up, and the other one don't give a fuck, dog. Is the problem with is the problem with that? That's the problem.
Yeah.
One of them's trying to actually clean their act up, and the other one just don't give a fuck.
Like they're like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, well, I was the one trying to clean my act up, okay? But I had this. Let me tell you, because they would like in the night, like the little. Well, this was after I got into the halfway house, but they fucking after like the little COs or whatever, like the little rehab COs, they would like make their little routes and check on everybody in the middle of the night. I had their route down so bad because there were all the houses were like 4 blocks away. I had their route down so cold. I would wait till they fucking came and checked up on me, our little house in the middle of the night, take off, because by the time I got there, they would be leaving the female's house. I'd get in there, fuck her, and then run back, and by the time I'd get back, they'd be fucking checking my house again, dog. Like, nice. I had their whole fucking pattern down, dog.
You got their
like,
timing down.
I had their timing down perfect, bro. And I got a few of these good ones, bro. And I fucking taking over the card table and shit. And that motherfucker.
But it makes sense. It makes sense. Girls that deal with drugs and then they get off of it. They must want to make up for it some kind of way. So I think sex is like whether they're on it or off it. It's like their go-to, to get their mind off of the drugs or whatever.
It will recognize it. And here's the other thing, bro. The dudes, not the females, the dude, like the little rehab because I've been to jail and shit too, but like the little rehab COs, the dudes would be fucking the clients in there, bro.
It happens too, yeah.
I swear to God. And then they'd get fired. They hired somebody else. This dude would fuck one of the chicks. Like it was wild, dog.
Dude, let me tell you something. I used to when I was in Rikers Island,
visiting.
I visiting exactly. But I had to take a shower one day, right? So no, all right. When you go in, I don't know how it's done now, because I'm not a fucking jailbird. So that was many. This is like 20 years ago, okay, at least. So I remember going in, and they were like, "All right, now you got to strip and take a shower before you go in." So I'm like, "All right, cool." So I go take a shower, and there was fucking female COs just looking at my dick.
Yeah.
Just looking at me up and down. I'm like, fuck.
Well, that's the other thing we see too, right?
And I didn't mind because I was younger back then. I was like, oh, okay.
That's how it's gonna be. Yeah, but it's interesting because there was that. By the way, somebody's clipping. Their mic is clipping. I don't know who it is, but there was that.
Let me see. I'm gonna mute.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's you're clipping there. I don't know. I think it's the headphones. Actually, no, I think it's Johnny Boy.
Sorry.
Yeah, try to work on your headphones.
I use my wireless now. Not my wireless. Excuse me. My the attachment one because.
Well, that's what Gonzalo was using too in rehab. But listen, I wanted to say, that thing about the female guards. You read that about that all the time. These fucking female CEOs falling in love with the prisoners because a lot of these guys, yeah, sure, they're demented and everything, but most of them are alpha. In the sense that they're fucking wild men, they take care of their bodies, and some of these women they fall for them, and they actually have caught some of them trying to, helping them escape. It's amazing, really. But if you know about females,
I had this CEO that she wasn't really attractive at all, but she would always come on to me.
Oh boy! Yeah.
But she just wasn't an attractive woman. She was not my type for sure.
Claire Howell.
She was
from Oz.
Well. She was a Spanish chick, but she was like real fat and out of shape and everything. And
sorry. It just reminds me. It reminds me of Oz in the series Oz. The prison HBO drama. There was this.
That one chick was fucking everybody.
Yeah, she was fucking, and then at the end she ends up getting pregnant because she fucked a Puerto Rican prisoner, and then she's talking to the father, the priest, and she goes, he goes, you know who the father is? And she goes, well, if I'm right, he's gonna come out golden brown and marinated in salsa, and I'm thinking.
I remember that.
But also, by the way, we got audio of Gonzalo chasing women through rehab. Yeah, that's the sound he makes all the time. But people in the chat room want. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say now that chick that I had the pattern for in rehab, she had halfway. She was bro. She had the Boston Jimmy accent, bro, and she was Russian, dog. It was fucking hilarious. It was fucking. She was beautiful.
That Boston accent is heavy, bro. That's like Jimmy's a classic example of that fucking. You ever hear like the street guys talk?
Oh yeah.
That accent? Oh man, it's even crazier.
Yeah. She was fucking really pretty too. She just didn't want to get her shit together, like I say.
But no, what I was going to tell you about that story, BDA, is that this woman came on hard. Like this happens, like that. Picking up, like, trying to sneak fuck a prisoner happens because she would straight up tell me, you have a beautiful face. You have a beautiful body. Like, bitch, I'm a fucking man. Don't call me beautiful. Just, like, this is weird. Like, this fat, out of shape woman is like, you gotta.
Oh, man.
Were you insulted? Were you insulted that this? Were you insulted that this fatso actually thought she was in your league?
No. This is what I mean. No, it wasn't even that.
I know. I'm kidding.
Coming on to me like I was a woman.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm the girl. Like girls don't normally tell a guy you're beautiful.
Exactly.
That's what we tell girls, right? We go up to them and be like, "You're a beautiful woman," Like, why she keeps fucking talking about how beautiful I am? I feel like this is gay. Like, what the fuck?
But you know what? Yeah. Also, it's interesting the fact that you said that she was coming on strong. Obviously, it means it wasn't the first time she was doing it, right? Like she must have had experience.
She didn't do this. Like she was used to doing this and maybe getting some action.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like I don't know if she was doing it in the prison or maybe she knew like these guys weren't gonna get long sentences or like maybe, hey, I'll meet you outside, that type of thing.
Well, Bucho, didn't Mike Tyson said he would bang his? He didn't say in the book, but I think he said in Howard Stern. He said that he would bang the
psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist, yeah, the big fat psychiatrist.
Whatever
Dominic Brown said recognizes fantasizing about prison guards.
But
you know how we role play?
Bro,
I don't even know who it is.
I fucking. All right, I'll give you one more real quick one. This wasn't. Florida's like my second home, away from Chicago and Milwaukee, and yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know the whole state, bro. But I fucking right after I turned 21, it was like not even a week. Okay, we went down there for my aunt's wedding, and I was like, well, shit, I just hit 21. I'm gonna go fuck. We were in Daytona. I was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I was like, well, shit, I just turned 21. I'm finna go hit the bars and shit, you know. And there was a bunch of them, like right down the hotel from where I was staying at. So I was at the bar, bro, and there was this Israeli chick, and she started talking. We started talking or whatever. I fucking took her back to the crib and knocked her down or whatever. And she's like, okay, come back to the same bar at like around the same time tomorrow, and we'll fucking get up again. So I did the same shit. I went over there, had a few drinks with her, took her back to the crib. And right when I was about ready to smash her again, she had no fucking bra, no pants on, no nothing. I hear a boom, boom, boom at the door. I'm like, what the fuck?
Uh-oh.
And this motherfucker, I open the door. She's like, can you get that? I'm like, oh, Jesus. And I was like, so I opened the door. This big old fucking 6-something Israeli dude was like, bro, I'm not going to beat the shit out of you. Just get your shit and get the fuck out. And I was like, all right. I was like, all right. I was like, I don't know if it was her brother or her boyfriend or whatever the fuck it was, but that motherfucker was huge. I was like, yeah, all right. I was like,
but wait a minute.
Like,
if it was her brother, why the fuck would he care? You know what I mean? Like, why would he care?
I'm just saying, I don't know who it was, bro.
I know, but I'm saying I'm going through the numbers here, trying to figure out what the fuck, like, why would this dude care? I did hear one thing though. I don't know if it's a stereotype. Apparently, a lot of cops, for some reason, they enjoy watching their, like, they swap wives, amongst each other, and they enjoy seeing also other guys fuck their wives. Like
that's sick.
But I'm saying
sick, bro.
It's an interesting.
Well, I mean, it could have something to do with their job. I mean, maybe it's something that fucks with their head, and because being a cop, listen, I don't disrespect cops. I'm not one of those people that fuck these cops, even though some of them are assholes. But but that kind of job has got to be like just makes you like fucking weird,
Yeah,
bro. One more. This bitch, bro. The Israeli, she was in the army over there, Doug. She was showing
they
me.
They all go to the army,
bro. She was fucking showing me her videos on her phone of her like blowing shit up in the desert and fucking waxing shit with the AK and shit. I'm like, God damn, this bitch is out of her fucking mind.
Damn, you didn't get a chance to like bust one in, bro. You should have been like, Allah Akbar.
Yeah.
Hey, BDA.
Yes.
Did you watch? Do you know about this guy? He's a cop that he raped a bunch of mostly black women, I believe. His last name is Holtzclaw, and he got sentenced and he was
California.
crying like, yeah. Did you know that thing about that guy?
Yeah.
Bucho,
Like start crying and shit.
Yeah. He got. Well, he killed like I don't know how many. How many did he kill? Gonzalo.
I think he was more like a rapist, not a killer.
No, he killed a few of them.
I think he had to, maybe one his sentence was life or some shit. No,
I'm thinking about somebody. Okay, there was somebody.
No, that's a East Side rapist. I think you're talking about. Well, this is the guy that used to kill in California. He just got caught after like so many years. The East Side Strangler. I'm talking about Holtzclaw. He was a guy that he was raped. He raped a bunch of black girls, while he was on duty.
What was he?
He was a cop.
No, I'm saying, what was his race? Black, Spanish, white?
He's
always
white
for the
and
race,
Asian.
Fucking.
yeah, that's the one I saw then. Yeah.
No, the one I saw was a black dude. I don't even know if he was a cop. He raped like a bunch of hookers, mainly black girls, and like he killed them and shit like that. He was like, he admitted to killing like 96 chicks.
By the way, I'm putting up the case that the cop that Gonzalo's talking about, Daniel Holtzclaw, from former Oklahoma City Police Department patrol officer who was convicted in 2015 of multiple counts of rape, sexual battery, forcible oral sodomy, and other charges. It's interesting because First of all, fucking Recognize has to go straight for the race. What race was he? What race is he? Would you leave race alone?
No. I just wanted because the
Shut
guy
up.
that I saw was in California. He was a black dude. He was a
Oh,
black
okay.
guy.
Yeah.
So if it's somebody else, like a Mexican or something, then it's not. It's or a white guy or Asian guy. In this case, he was. What was he again? Asian and white? Or
He looks Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was.
Yeah, because when you said California, I know the East Side Strangler. He'd been for like 40 years MIA, and he's the guy that used to tie up the husband and put like.
Is that the guy that got
China
caught?
wear?
Is that the guy that got
DNA.
caught? Right.
Yeah.
He's a black dude. No, isn't he?
No,
a black
he's a
guy?
white guy. He's a white guy.
That's not him. That's not him. Some guy just went to jail for killing like 96 chicks. He admitted it. He said, "I killed them." Yeah.
96?
96, bro.
How you get out of here?
Like he raped and killed. He said that he probably did. Hold on, let me get away from the line. Sorry.
What's this guy's name?
He was a black dude from Cali, recognize?
I believe it was California. I believe he was from California.
What's his guy's
The
name?
only guy that I heard that's a black guy that used to kill a lot of boys, like a lot. He used to choke them. What's his name?
Yeah, no, I don't. Listen, there was a story that I saw.
I know who
of
you're
a
talking
guy of a guy who went to
yeah.
jail. He admitted to killing like 90-something people, 90 girls. Like that's what he said.
But he was a black guy, recognize.
Black guy, like kind of older. He's 73 years old now, and he's like kind of like brown skin, light skin. And yeah, he admitted to killing like 90-something girls.
They did a documentary on this fucker. I can't think of what his name is.
Oh, wait a minute.
I got him right here on Google.
Is
He
he?
claims he's America's deadliest serial killer with 90 victims. Police believe him.
What's his name?
Yeah.
What's his name? Because I think I know who you're talking about.
Let me
Rizalo.
see. I got him right here. Yeah, let me try to find his name.
It's a little guy,
what's
right?
his name?
It's a little guy that looks like Spike Lee a little bit.
Yeah.
Samuel Little.
Yeah, I think that's him.
Yeah. That's right.
The irony.
BDA. He was like I got that impression like he's a little dude.
Oh no! Wait a minute. This isn't the guy I was talking about. This guy looks much more.
This is a new guy. I never seen this guy before, but
Yeah,
Samuel
this guy-
Little.
He looks like Luis Ortiz in 2 years. Look at this. He has,
Listen, one guy like I said that story I heard. I mean, the guy was like, "Yeah, I killed like 90 bitches."
90 bitches.
Like, yeah, and they were mainly black girls that he killed.
So you see, they always say that it's always white people, the serial killers.
No.
Murder is all about equality. You got white serial
That's it,
killers, black
yeah.
serial killers, Chinese serial killers.
Could be anyone. That's what makes it exciting,
Hey, BDA, let me tell you what George Carlin said.
What's
He
that?
said, here, let me tell you something. Women attempt suicide more, but men are more successful at it. So if you guys really want to be equal, you got to start taking your own lives in greater numbers.
It's interesting.
Johnny Boy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry, BD. The one that I think you're talking about is Wayne Williams.
Yes,
The
that's
Atlanta
him.
Monster. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wayne Williams, little guy. He looks like Spike Lee. You can tell this guy. Look at him. I'm putting up the picture. I saw a documentary. It was from CNN back when they were, good and everything. And they did a documentary with this guy. This motherfucker. I can tell you right now. I'm not an expert on behavioral psychology or anything, but there's definitely something weird with this guy. First of all, John Douglas, or what's his name? John Douglas, the guy who wrote the book about FBI profiling. He's basically the father of profiling. He was actually called as an expert witness in this guy's case, and he said he knew how to get under his skin. It was all about provoking him and make him look as if he was stupid. And by doing that, the guy basically admitted that he killed people or something like that. Anyway, in the CNN interview, they're asking him, like, they're talking to him, saying, there's all this evidence that you killed, because he says he's innocent. And they're telling him, there's all this evidence that says that you're guilty. And while they're saying that, he's smiling. He always has like a little smirk. And I'm thinking,
I'm better than you.
if you've been in there for 20 years, wrongfully accused, you'd be pissed. This guy's like, accepting, it's like he's almost like he's trying too hard to be unbiased. Like, okay, yeah. But definitely something wrong with this little guy. This guy, Wayne Williams, he would kill. He was a homosexual killer, right, Gonzalo? I think.
Most likely because he used to choke out little kids.
Yeah, that's
He
the
was
thing.
Fucking nut job.
he
It's
was
on
like a
here.
scout for talent. He was like a scout for talent. He go like looking for talented kids to like do like these singing competitions,
You
and
sound
then
like a sick fuck, a sick
yeah,
motherfucker.
he would put
Yeah.
like posters in the schools like come meet me here. Then I think the strongest evidence they got against him was like they saw him lurking around the areas where he used to dump the bodies. But eventually, after getting like all this circumstantial evidence, they were able to convict him.
Look at that afro though.
Yeah.
That's a he knew how to rock
Did
the
you
afro back then.
did you guys ever heard about? There was a story that happened out here. I don't know if it made international news, but remember Craigslist and Backpage and all those things?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was like a lot of girls putting ads up, like to meet guys, or even like you could pay for them or whatever. There was a couple of girls that went missing in Long Island. Right, this was out in like in Suffolk County, and if anybody knows Long Island, it's big as fuck. So if you go disappearing out there, it could take a long time for them to find you. So it was like a group of girls that went missing, right? So I don't think they had anything to do with it. At least that I'm not aware of. When that first happened, they thought that it was like some serial rapist, right? A guy who was picking up these girls and killing them. But when MS-13 started fucking taking bodies and killing them and burying them in big parks and shit like that, like these gruesome murders, they became suspects.
Yeah.
They ended up becoming suspects. I don't think they had anything to do with it, but they put that on them too. They were like, wait a second. These girls got brutal beatings the way you guys brutally beat your victims.
Huh.
There's like a fingerprint to it.
Right.
There's a signature to the kind of beatings these girls got and the beatings that your victims got, mainly other gang members.
They call it the modus operandi or mode of operation. That's what they call it in the industry. Like when you see like there's a like this guy bashes skulls, so we see another victim that's got
right. Now I don't think MS-13 had anything to do with that because I never followed it up. I never saw if they did or didn't. I think they ended up finding out that he didn't have anything to do with it. But you see how like when you do shit, you do things that you. Now listen, these guys, at least in Long Island, they killed two girls. They killed a white girl and a black girl. They raped them and they beat them up and they killed them. And they were like 15 or 16. They were affiliated. In other words, like those girls lived in the same neighborhood, so it was easy to connect the dots, like who did this to them. But the girls that went missing that were like working on Backpage and working on Craigslist or whatever, that was a long investigation because I still don't even think they caught anybody for that. But I remember it went from it must be a serial rapist. He could be white, black, Spanish, or whatever, or it's MS-13 that did that.
Illuminati.
But you know what? It's interesting because first of all, that's fucking smart. You do a crime like organized crime syndicate, they pin it on them. It's like when you're little and you do something that your brother would usually do, as he's gonna get the blame. That's fucking smart, man. That's little kid logic, but it works in the real world. Just goes to show. Also, another thing. Speaking of heinous crimes or bizarre crimes, do you guys remember a couple of years ago? I think it was 15 years ago. There was this German gay couple. Well, they met on the internet. I thought that's where you were going. I thought recognize that's what you were going with when you were talking about Craigslist and everything. These people they met online, and they made a pact. One of them said, "Listen, I don't want to live anymore. How about you chop my penis off before you kill me and eat it?"
God damn.
And they said, "Yeah, fantastic." So they showed up. They met each other. They went to one of those guys' houses. Chopped the other guy's cock off. They ate it. I think. Must have been an interesting dinner, by the way. How do you what do you talk about while you're eating another man's cock?
Where was this?
It was in Germany.
Yeah, in Germany, yeah.
Where else? It was Bucha. You knew it was going to be Germany or Japan. You knew that.
Japan, yeah.
Yeah. So, and by the way, I'm looking. I'm trying to look.
Oh, this was in Japan.
No. This was Germany.
No, Germany.
Look at I'm looking at the headline because I'm doing research to give you guys more details. I'm looking at the headline here. Cannibal and victim share share penis appetizer. That's actually the fucking headline. It's like-
Appetizer?
yeah.
The entree.
BDA, you remember?
Yeah, but those guys love eating sausage, though. Those guys eat a lot of bratwurst.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Oh,
The BD,
That's disgusting, bro.
BDA, you remember a few shows ago when I brought up them dudes? Who's crackling?
yeah. Who's
I
crackling?
think it's you.
Is
I'll
it me?
say, I've never had so much cock in my life.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that
Johnny
ain't
Boy,
me.
it's you, Johnny Boy, because I just muted myself.
Yeah, it's you, Johnny Boy.
No. I can still hear it. It's Bucho.
I don't
No,
hear
every-
anything.
Everybody's
Oh,
muted.
all right. Well, yeah, but anyway, the fucking. Remember, a few shows ago, I brought up that those devil worshiper guys from out here in the '90s, the Ripper crew. What
Chicago.
you want to hear? Yeah, in Chicago, these dudes, the devil worshiper motherfuckers, these dudes, they'd kidnap the chick, they'd cut off her tit, okay, they'd jerk off into the tit, all of them, then they'd
Jesus.
eat it, then they would eat it.
Ah, come
Shut up.
on.
No.
I swear to
no.
God.
So wait. So these guys were eating other dudes' semens? They're fucking nasty.
Oh God! What the
I
hell?
mean, it's bad enough you're eating another girl, some tits. I mean, we've all heard that term before. I want to
Right.
bite those tits. We didn't think he meant it literally. Like he wants it fucking.
Wait,
Yeah.
so they were eating each other's semen. You know what that means, right?
He's a fag.
Come on.
Yeah.
I had to play that.
Dude, I knew a girl. I knew a chick. Real quick, I knew a chick that hooked up with this guy. Girls could be so stupid. Hooked up with a guy she barely knew, and he bit her lip. He bit her lip off.
Oh, damn.
Wait, was
that's
this
some,
guy Hannibal Lecter or what the fuck?
That's some. No, that's De Niro on Cape Fear. That's
Oh yeah,
better.
oh yeah. That's. I love that scene. I love that scene in Cape Fear where he's talking to the girl, and you can obviously tell she wants to know because he told her he was in jail, and she's like, "What did you do, really?" And the guy goes, he was in jail for brutally raping and murdering, and then he goes like, or just raping, I think, just plain rape. But he goes, "Yeah, that's a lot of fucking." Is that from my end? Hold on.
Yeah, I think it's from you.
No, I just unmuted and it's on me. Anyway, listen. When De Niro's character Max Cady, he goes, "Well, what happened was I was at this peaceful protest at a nuclear power plant, and this macho sheriff, got a tad rough with one of the ladies. So I popped him in the face, and I did a little time. Like that's his excuse. Meanwhile, he's a fucking rapist." So that's the greatest example of a criminal just thinking on the spot of a fucking lie to tell. That's like Don King level stuff right there, man. But
about that story, real quick, BDA. You know that the girl, like that girl that I just told you about, the guy biting her lip, he bit a piece of her lip off. Like he did more than that, bro. He he fucked her up really bad. The funny thing was she couldn't tell you where he lived, anything, nothing.
Yeah,
nothing at all. She was like at this point, I wonder if that's even his name. I forgot the name. Let's just say. I don't know. Let's not call him any name, but just she had a name. She was like, I'm not sure. Hold on, man. That's that me?
No, I think Bucho. Mute your mic, please.
Hold
on. And it just goes to show you, like girls don't have that maybe they do. It takes something like that to happen to them. But like when you meet a guy you barely know and you hook up with him. That guy could have done way more than that. He could have killed you, obviously, and chopped you up. But, she couldn't. And it really happened, obviously, because the fucking lip was bitten off. Like the bottom part was gone. Like not the whole thing, but like a piece of it. And like she had like fucking bite marks all over her body. Like she met a crazy motherfucker. And she's like, I just don't. When the cops asked her, where did you go? Where did you guys go? I don't know, some hotel in Long Island.
Yeah, but recognize, she
it's
told
like,
you...
okay, that's not going to help. Long Island is huge.
Recognize, she told you that I apologized, right? Like right afterwards, I apologized.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a brute. I'll apologize if I do something like that. But it just goes to show you. But yeah, it's true. You bring up a good point. Like, listen, we've all, fucking one night stands. It's gonna come up. But with women, I do I mean, I don't know. Listen, I don't want to tell women to stop doing one night stands, otherwise I'm in trouble.
Yeah,
but
no, that's like
It's against the code, BDA.
I know. But there is a certain danger now that you mention it. Like you could go and you know what? It could be the same for guys. This woman, she has a taser or something. So, you know what? I've heard stories of guys that this prostitute comes in and she goes like, "Oh yeah, you wanna like bang or whatever?" He goes, "Yeah, okay." And there's a guy waiting behind the door with a fucking taser, stun gun or something. That I think I heard that once or twice. I forget exactly where, but it's it happens to guys too, man. Don't think that because you're a man.
You could go meet a girl and she'll set you up.
Absolutely.
That's next thing you know, you're getting robbed, and you're like, and she's like, "Oh, what happened to you? What happened?" I'm like,
"Yeah,
bitch, how the fuck these people knew I was here?"
Did I tell you the story? I told you. I didn't tell you. One time, this was when I was a fucking teenager. I was in a bus stop, and I'm waiting for the bus, minding my own business. And this girl, my age, comes on. She's fucking hot. She goes, "You got the time? You know what time the blah 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 bus passes by?" I go, "Yeah, it's like about 15 minutes." She says, "By the way, you like to fuck?" And I said, "Boy, do I." So she said, "Well, come on down." So I go to an alleyway with her. We start doing the stuff. Next thing you know, I black out, and I wake up. My shoes are missing, my wallet's missing, my belt and everything. And at first, I realized it took me a while because that's how stupid I am. It took me a while to realize I know what happened. This girl sucked my dick so good, she drew all the blood out of my head onto my cock, and I passed out. And I tell you something, and I knew that's what happened.
Should be.
And then I went to the post office, and I'm in line and everything, and I see her picture on the wall. And it says wanted, and I go, "Fuck, she sucks dick so good. People are looking all over the place for her, man. Even the fucking national post office." So let me tell you something. That's
like on Vegas Vacation, BDA, with Randy Quaid. You remember Vegas Vacation?
I've never seen the whole fucking movie.
Oh, bro, that's classic. But he's like, "Oh yeah, you see my daughter because she's working. Her pictures all over the place. She's in men's rooms, taxi cabs. She's famous."
Oh, jeez. That's you don't want to hear that about your daughter.
Yeah. Randy Quaid.
he's insane now, isn't he? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
By the way, did you see that movie, No Retreat, No Surrender?
Which one is that again?
No Retreat, No Surrender. I think.
Oh, the one with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yeah. No, I didn't see all of it. No offense, but I'm not gonna.
You should have seen the end. It was so bad, it was good.
What the fuck was the one you were telling me about the other day, BDA? Bone Tomahawk? I thought it was XXX Dances with Wolves over here.
Boner Tomahawk. That's Boner Tomahawk. No, Bone Tomahawk is a.
Sounds like a porn movie.
No, yeah, that's what fucking. Who else? Johnny Boy said that, but John Gonzalez was in the chat. Shout out to John. I think he said he saw it too. It's a pretty good fucking movie. I can't even say anything about what it's about, otherwise it spoils it. And I recently saw another movie from the same director. It's called Brawl in Cell Block 99. Shit, that's a good fucking movie. The ending. I mean, it's
Rikers Island.
No, it takes place in a make-believe prison.
But, there is a Cell Block 99 in
Well, that's probably what they got.
I'll tell you a good one that a lot of people ain't seen, bro. It's with Hugh Jackman and that Jake Gyllenhaal kid, the one that was in what was that dude in? He was in that, I forget what the fuck he was in. He's been in a few movies.
Yeah, Jarhead.
Jarhead. Yeah, he was in Jarhead. He was in that where he was the cameraman movie. I forget what the fuck it was called. But,
Nightcrawler.
Yeah. Nightcrawler. And it's with Jake Gyllenhaal and the Hugh Jackman kid, bro. And
Prisoners.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one, dog.
It's disturbing a little bit too, right? Bucho, you saw it too, right? All right, Bucho. I think Bucho tapped.
Bucho muted himself for good, bro.
Yeah, he's gone. No, he muted himself with vodka or cheap tequila. Did I mute you, Bucho, or are you still there?
I muted myself. I was talking shit. I don't know.
By the way, did you just time? I saw you just timed out the Punisher. What the fuck?
What? Oh fuck! I don't know what the hell I did.
Yeah, Prisoners was
hold on.
Yo, you're drinking.
How do you? How do you can't on time somebody, can you?
Sorry, Punisher. You're gonna be back in 300 seconds.
All right, so we'll stretch this for 5 more minutes because we do have to go, but we'll stretch it for 5 minutes so Punisher can come back and.
Okay, which movie were we talking about?
Well, hold on,
Prisoners.
All right.
Wait.
Can I on time Punisher, or how the fuck does that work?
I don't know, man.
Jeez,
Now wait a minute. You cannot treat Punisher, BDA's Punisher like that.
Exactly.
It's just not gonna happen.
Well, actually,
He just got
recognize. You just said you can't treat BDA's Punisher. Are you talking about the actual Punisher or my Punisher, which is what I call my cock?
Oh.
The Punisher. You get it, the Punisher. All right, listen. What movie we were talking about? Prisoners, Bucho. Prisoners with Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. You know, with the girls get kidnapped and there's
with the apostles and shit. There.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good movie, man.
Yeah.
Kind of freaks me out, man. There's people like that crazy, man. Like,
oh, speaking of, I know how we can stretch this for 5 minutes. But that's what I tell women too. By the way, let me just stretch it for 5 minutes. There was
I'll
this.
be done in 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, not even, man. Not at my age. But speaking of cases of rapists and all that, there was this one creepy case, man. I'll try to look up or Gonzalo, maybe you'll know if I don't know if you'll know about it, but if anybody knows about it, bring it up. If anybody in the chat room knows about it, bring it up. There was this girl. She was, I think, 16 or 17. She lived in like a small town or something. And she would always go on her bike around the neighborhood.
I know Tara Calicote.
Yes. All right, you tell us that case, because you might know it better than I do.
Well, like I say, the girl I'm with now kind of knows a little couple. Anyways, we can talk for 3 hours about that. But anyways,
yeah.
But she was riding her bike, and a bunch of witnesses happened and this and that. Now, allegedly, the conclusion they came to was, and she's been missing for 30 fucking years or something crazy like that. But allegedly, what the conclusion was that they came to was that the chief of police, this is in New Mexico.
Okay.
The chief of police's son and his buddies, who were wackos, they fucking hit her while she was riding her bike with like little motorhome or like a truck and a trailer or something, like a truck and a little mobile home on the hitch of it, and they fucking stuffed her. This is the conclusion they came to. I just saw something about this. It's funny you bring that up, but they took her to some cave, raped her, and killed her, and she's never been found. None of that, but that's the likely theory as to what happened.
The fuck? First of all. Are we talking about the same story? First of all, that's a fucking disturbing story. But I'm talking about she went out riding on her bike, and one guy years later, a guy found a photo in a parking lot. Is that the same story, or
with her duct taped and shit? Yes.
So actually, okay. So hold on.
You know, I don't know the story, but I've the duct tape, her being taped, and the photo. I did see something like that. I
yeah.
The story.
And there was So hold on a second before we can just to explain to people out there. So. This girl disappears, and her mother, obviously, she calls the cops. She goes, she should be back by now. She's not here. And they end up opening up a missing person case because she didn't come back after days. So I think years later, this guy's in the parking lot or Walmart or something, and he sees a photo, a Polaroid on the ground. So he picks it up, and it's a girl tied up, and it looks like she's in a van, or like, you know, the inside of a van where you put a cover on it and everything. It looked like that. So she's tied up and gagged, and she's looking at the camera. But so he takes it to the cops. But not only that, in the picture too, there's a little boy.
Yeah,
also
it's
tied
the
up
same
and
case,
gagged.
BDA.
So they start looking into the case. So hold on a second. So when did they finally realize that it was the cops that did it? Because I read that recently, and I didn't read anything about cops.
Well, they never confirmed that, but that's what, like, I guess a lot of people in that town actually know what happened, and then this police chief's son would be all fucking whacked out of his mind, doped up and shit, and he would let something slip once in a while, and then they'd be sending motherfuckers over to their house and keep your mouth shut, you didn't hear nothing, and that's looks like what happened. Dude, I
get you.
Well, hold on. The story's too deep, or what are you hesitating?
No, I'm not. I'm just I know a lot about a lot of these cases. But anyways, that's what it looks like happened. It looked like it was the police chief's kid and his friends that did it.
But
And
hold on a
that's why
second.
it
So
got
who
covered
was?
up.
They said that the kid in the picture they could also identify him as another missing boy. But so was that from the same town or was that somewhere else?
I don't see. They weren't sure about the boy. The boy was like they didn't know. It was like, was it this kid or was it this other kid? Like that's just one of them freaky ass cases, bro.
Jeez.
Like that's like the Johnny Gosh one and shit.
Oh yeah. That's. Didn't I hear that about the Johnny Gosh and everything? Like I don't know if it was Johnny Gosh, but there was one kid who would say that. Oh yeah, they take a whole bunch of kids every fucking year or something to this compound or whatever, and they went to the compound and it was empty, but they looked at the trees. Oh no, sorry, the inside of the compound there was wood paneling, and there were names carved in there. And he had told the police beforehand, like, if you go there, you'll see the names carved. Like, apparently, it's the kids. They would all carve their names there, just like as a clue to cops or whatever. But it could have been him who did it. I don't know. Like, but that was a creepy detail there that they actually saw that, like, a whole bunch of names written, like dozens of names or more, I think.
Well, did they tell you what they found on in the refrigerator there?
In the same compound or
it was a compound or one of the guys or somehow it was connected, but they found some kid's fucking claw marks on a locked refrigerator on the inside. Yeah, like yeah.
Yeah, those stories. I hope they're fake, man. I hope I hope those are fake stories, man. It's horrible.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think they are BDA. We could talk about for 3 hours about that. But
actually, you know, first of all, those are all conspiracy theories, and I don't want this channel shut down. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say right now, conspiracy theories. Don't believe in them, and I believe everything the mainstream media tells me, and that's it. I'm a good boy. All right. I'm a Justin Trudeau supporter.
Who's fighting this weekend? Sorry.
Who's fighting? Shit, hold on a second. Let me check because I closed all the pages already. I thought we were gonna go.
Ugas and Puerto.
And by the way, thank you, Johnny Boy, for bringing the showdown on a low note with that depressing story.
Well,
I'm kidding, by the way. I'm
did I?
kidding. That's why. No,
I'm
I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding, Johnny Boy. I'm kidding you. I brought it up. I brought it up.
All right.
You know what?
Yeah, Johnny, I watched a lot of the forensic files too.
Yeah.
And by the way,
I can watch that shit, man. Just depressing, man.
Yeah. Didn't somebody ask who was my favorite rapper or somebody? Didn't somebody ask like $2 or something? Give somebody.
Oh yeah. Or Revolucion. He wanted to know who recognized Johnny Boy's favorite rappers.
All right. Well, see, I'm in the Midwest, so we get a nice little mixture of everything right in the middle of the country. We get a nice little bit of Recognizes backyard. We get a nice little bit of the South. So we're kind of in the middle. So like from the East, bro, my favorites would probably be like I like DMX, I like Big Pun, I like fucking I like Wu-Tang, I like fucking Old 50. And then from the South, I love I'm in the Midwest, Bone Thugs and Twister, of course, but then in the South, I love fucking my Project Pat, bro, and Boozy.
So you like all the mainstream stuff. I'm gonna go boxing hip hop hipster on you. I think Ragdoll Bandana. That's the guy you've never heard of. That's the best one. Let me tell you. All right, recognize. How about you, man? Favorite rapper? Are you even into rap? I think this guy's. I think Revolucion might be stereotyping a little bit here. Oh, recognize he's probably taking a dump, and he finally learned how to shut his mic off while he's taking a nice old Puerto Rican dump.
He's looking for the VHS.
Yeah, he got a tape. Somebody found a picture of the VHS tapes in a fucking parking lot, and now he's still looking for him. He's got hope now. Oh, Gonzalo just dropped off. Fuck. I wanted to ask him who his favorite rapper was. Being Mexican, he's probably like a fucking Control Machete or something fan.
He better say SPM.
SPM. Who the fuck? I don't even know who that is.
South Park Mexican, dog.
Yeah, from Cali, no?
No, he's from Texas.
Oh, Texas.
The one who went to jail for fucking the 13-year-old.
Oh, jeez. 13s, man. I might tell you something. He's pushing it a little bit. By the way, is the Punisher, are you back, man? Because I just want to clear the air that I don't know why Bucho accidentally timed you out, man. Has it been 5 minutes or?
It's been more than 5 minutes. I'm sorry about that. Whatever question you asked me, man, I didn't hear it or nothing. Sorry.
Yeah, because Revolucion in the beginning of the show, he wanted to know if you who your favorite rappers are.
Favorite rappers?
Yeah.
Oh shit. I would probably go shit, Nas.
No, I'm
Nas
sorry.
is one of them.
Because EM Serrano in the chat room says recognizes walking off to female CEOs.
Yeah, Ian Serrano's been getting heavy, boy.
Oh man.
No, I would say Nas is one of them.
Uh-huh.
I always liked Mobb Deep. I like MC8. I don't know if you guys not MC8 was all right. Spice One.
Oh, I think
I know who that is.
Yeah, I've always liked him. I thought his flow was different back in the days.
See, I just told
Freddie Fox. You guys ever heard of Freddie Fox?
No, I don't know who that is, bro.
Yeah, he's a badass rapper back in the days too. I thought.
See, I told him, I was like, bro, I'm in the Midwest, so we get a nice little mix of the South and the East Coast over here. So I gave him a couple from both parts of the country.
Everybody's
I mean, there's a lot, man. There's a lot of guys off the top of my head. I just can't. Those are the guys that I can come up with.
Yeah, I said, bro, I said from the East, I like Pun, the Locks, Old 50, and from the South, I got my favorites down there too. But
I tell you something. Oh, there we go. Punisher's back. Punisher, just to clarify, I don't know. Bucho is drinking or something. He wasn't even listening to what we were saying. So God knows what he was doing. But apparently, whatever he was doing, he wasn't paying attention. He accidentally timed you out, Punisher. So I don't know why the fuck.
Gonzalez said, "I like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air."
No. You know what? I don't.
Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground.
Oh, he memorized it and everything. I don't even like what's it called? I don't even listen to the lyrics all that much. I'm more of one of those idiots that likes the beats more than the actual lyrics. So I really like Jedi Mind Tricks. The guy that produces those beats, his nickname is Stoop, the Enemy of Mankind. Fuck, he makes some beats, man.
What's his name?
Stoop, the Enemy of Mankind. Apparently, this guy, he's been making beats since the mid-90s, and he still has to work a full-time job or part-time job just to make ends meet. This guy is one of the most underrated producers out there, man, and he'll sample shit. Like, everybody's always sampling soul, jazz, and shit. This guy's sampling stuff like Spanish music from the 1970s and shit like that, and it's fantastic. Nopal Castaño.
Best freestyle rappers? How about this? Best freestyle rappers.
Oh fuck! I don't know enough about. Like I said, I don't pay attention to the fucking
Johnny
lyrics.
Boy. To me, it's Big Pun and Eminem.
Well, how about
KRS?
How about KRS-One? Where would you put him there?
Oh, KRS-One, I forgot. He was really good when he
in the 80s, right?
Criminal Minded. If you ever listen to that album, the album is legit.
Yeah,
South Bronx, South Bronx, South
Bronx.
Yeah.
South Bronx. When that song came out, the club in the club scenes in New York, and I'm sure like everywhere else too, probably, I don't know, but it was like a fucking that's what like got the club like really hyped up, especially if like guys like us were there, like Queens guys, because he did a song called The Bridge Is Over. The Bridge Is Over. You ever heard that song?
Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's funny because I grew up in Long Island City, so I'm from the other side of that town, so we didn't like them, right? So we always had beef. We always had beef with Queensbridge, certain parts, because Queensbridge is fucking huge.
That's where Nas and them are from, right?
Yeah. So every time we would beef with them, we would go, "The bridge is over. The bridge is over."
Hey, by the way, Revolucion in the chat room asks, recognize, how about Lord Tariq and Peter Gunn's Uptown Baby?
Yeah, they were all right. They were pretty good. Yeah.
This guy, fucking Revolucion, knows his stuff, man. He's all over the fucking. He must. Revolucion, are you from New York or the New York area, East Side, or? Oh, I'll see what. Pop Tart Gun says BDA's favorite rapper is Justin Bieber. He's not a rapper, first of all. First of all, he's not a rapper. And second of all, even if I do like him, so what? I got to support a fellow Canadian, don't I? Come on.
Yo, man. Justin Bieber gets the girls, man.
Hey, Nopal Castellano says Psycho Realm. Psycho Realm's good. They got some good, like hard, dusty beats.
The alcoholics were pretty good freestylers as well.
Oh, yeah.
See,
yeah, they had a nice flow to their shit, too.
See, you guys is a little bit older than me, though, bro. Like, I grew up listening to fucking Bone Thugs and 3-6 Mafia and shit.
Yeah, they were
bro.
good. They were good, too. Bone Thugs.
Yeah. Bone Thugs and Twista and fucking, like I say, bro, there's like over here, it's like it's like a blend of the, like, we'll get some of the East Coast shit and then we'll get some of the South, bro. So I got a little bit of.
That's how we do the shit where I'm from. Red rum leaves the body dumb.
Yeah.
Blast on a dumb.
Yeah.
You know what that is, right?
I know the words. I can't
That's
think
Spice.
of.
That's Spice One.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Spice One. Yeah, there was also what's his name? You know, the R.A. the Rugged Man. He's a guy that he'll do this fast. He always has this fast style where he'll just nonstop talking with his I don't know what you rhyming whatever the fuck. And he's a boxing fan. This guy. He's a huge boxing fan. He was the one that got into that beef with Mayweather. Remember that? About 10, 11 years ago, he was on a radio show, and he called Mayweather out.
Yeah. I remember that.
Fucking.
Honestly, I never liked the Rugged Man. Even though I thought he did good in that interview, I still would have liked Floyd to smack the shit out of him. Like, yeah, because I don't like him.
Shane Mosley got beat up by Zero and fucking Trey the Truth and them dudes from Texas, bro. They don't.
Oh
they're crazy.
Yeah. I read about that. A couple. What was it? A couple of years ago or something?
Yeah, and them dudes ain't no fucking. I won't say the gay ass fucking dudes they got out today. Like that's like late '90s, early. Like that's the shit I grew up on, early 2000s, late '90s. You know.
Yeah. I can't get into certain rap of like if you even want to call it rap nowadays. But I am getting into some of these, trap music. There's some that's when it's instrumental and they got a deep booming bass and it's sort of like they call it ambient trap music. That's sort of like relaxing. I'm trying to do some of that here for the show, or when we do the fucking film analysis, I try to put more like soothing trap music in the back. I'm starting to get the hang of it. But I
like Ghetto Boys too, man. Ghetto Boys was one of my favorite rap groups too.
What's funny? You know what's funny, bro? When I lived in Florida, like I say, for like in Lauderdale, there's a lot of New York and Jersey cats out there, bro. And they'd always be getting pissed off when I'd be playing like my Project Pat or 8 Ball and MJG. They're like, "Fuck this, dog. Put on Jay-Z and shit." They don't want to hear none of that sound.
I like Jay-Z when he first came out, man. But like after a while, it was like, I'm getting tired of this shit, yo. When he first came out, Jay-Z's stuff was alright, but after a while, like as the years started passing by, he started to get dull for me.
Yeah. Well, what he's into now, right? Like he's been kissing so much ass. He thinks he's part of the. Well, what type of community would I call it? Well,
donkey.
Flashing symbols and all that. That's what he's into now. Like he's so far above where he started that he's in another level now of thinking. But you know what, Johnny Boy, you mentioned Wu-Tang Clan. Have you ever heard the first album from the Gravediggers?
Pop Tart said PDA's favorite rapper is Celine Dion.
Okay, now he's just throwing out the gayest music out there. It's not even rappers. He's gonna come out and say Barry Manilow next. But yeah, did you ever hear that first album from the Gravediggers? The Gravediggers.
The Gravediggers. Yeah, man.
See, that's a little bit before me, bro. Yeah.
But I'm saying if you like Wu-Tang Clan, that was RZA was one of the rappers in there, and what's his name? Prince.
When the MCs came to bring out the pain, to 2 to 4, some had to snort cocaine.
Jesus, you fucking, recognize you're the type of guy that pays attention to the lyrics.
You know who was a good ass rapper out there by you recognize was fucking Big L, bro. I like Big L.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Unfortunately, man, he had all those problems with those dudes out there.
Yeah, he died young. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man.
All right, listen, Pop Tart Gum won't stop. He says BDA's favorite rapper is Vanilla Ice.
No,
listen.
You know who listens. You know who listens to. You know who listens to Celine Dion? Adrian Bronner after he's had a couple cognacs, brother.
Oh.
That's what. Didn't he start playing some fucking song at the press conference? Fucking. That was that goofy ass female song.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
But didn't he say he and Tank Davis they would play Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On" and they would recreate a Titanic scene where he's drawing her naked?
Wait a second, no, BDA. John Gonzalez says, "I love Hitler."
He says what? I love Hitler. Jesus. Oh well. On that note, I think we gotta end it. I think that's a good joke to end it on, and I will say joke because I don't know if he's joking or not. But all right, listen,
boys. Peace out, dog.
Peace out. I want to give a shout out to everybody that was here. Kiwi Boxing, Stu, Recognize, Johnny Boy. Who else was? Gonzalo, of course. Precise. Bucho already left. You motherfuckers, you leave me hanging. Now I forget the names of who was on. I said Kiwi, I said Precise, I said Stu, I said Recognize, I said Johnny Boy, Jimmy. I had forgotten Jimmy, Gonzalo, and that's about it. So now, thank you for joining us again. I gave a shout out to everybody, and I do want to thank everybody in the chat room. I want to give a shout out to Michael Stott, Chris Gonzalez, The Punisher, Grievous, Centurion Son, Fight Scout, Cachnello, Azzy, Fight Scout, Slapnuts, John Gonzalez, Chris Gonzalez, Fight Scout, or I said Fight Scout, Nopal, Castellanos, EM Serrano, Pop Tart Gun, you know who you are, many more, Triple J, The Punisher, I already said. Again, I don't know why the fuck Bucho accidentally timed you out. I'll have a word with him, it won't happen again. So, thanks again, guys, for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. Don't forget to check out our Patreon page so we can finally get this fucking call-in show off the ground. The Punisher's BDA is Millie. No, I'm not Millie Vanilli. Jesus, you guys are killing me over here. Listen, thank you, thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget to check us out on Spreaker as well, where you can download the episodes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Take it easy, folks.